Sun Buyao, fourth voice, crossed over. Becoming a warrior on the continent of Azeroth. Here is a vast and boundless land, as well as an unfathomable ocean. There are endless enemies and monsters to kill. He arrived with his characters from single-player Warcraft and 2 passive skills from Sean in LOL, Death Glory and Soul Furnace. A blacksmith's shop, an old man with a short beard. Kid, do it well for me. Remember, you are a great and brave dwarf. Don't learn to cheat and play tricks like those cowardly humans, it won't benefit you. The dwarf old man held a hammer the same size as half of his body in his hand and shouted to Sun Bugue with his head raised. But I am clearly a human. Sun Buki could only silently hesitate in his heart. In the future, this will be the world of Laozi, ha ha ha. When he thought of the 2 divine weapons he brought with him during his travels, Sun Buki was overjoyed. These were the ones he spent a high price on the Love Warcraft forum and asked the experts to customize for him. A backpack with 38 compartments can stack 999 items per compartment. Another artifact is the necklace hanging around his neck now. Slaughter. Killing. Divine artifact, in sealed state, unlocks 1 special effect every 20 levels, a total of 6 special effects. The first special effect has been opened. The effect is that for every 100 enemies of the same level killed, an additional free attribute point will be added, with no limit. Opening his skill bar and looking at the 6 professional skills that had already reached the full level of proficiency, Sun Buki's smile turned cold. Isn't it just spending some money? Why not learn all the professional skills to the fullest? Keywords of the novel. Warcraft. My health bar is a bit long without pop-ups, Warcraft. My health bar is a bit long. Download the full text, Warcraft. My health bar is a bit long. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. This world, I come. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. This world, I come. Let's go to the internet cafe at the entrance of the community and turn it on. As soon as Sun Buyao answered the phone, he heard his friend call him out. Stop it. The epidemic has been very serious these days, and I just downloaded the standalone version of 837 Warcraft, so I won't go out. A friend was cursing on the phone and said, "You're really cowardly. You're too timid. Hurry up and change your name. Let's just call yourself Sunjinzi in the future. Hehe, I can also open a black room at home. I'll go in when you finish opening the room. Okay, then wait for my message." After hanging up the phone, I started researching the newly installed Xiaoyao Warcraft without hesitation. With explanations and solutions to related problems and difficulties, Bougie quickly entered the game as desired. The opening animation must be watched, and every time I watch it, I have to give this special effect a thumbs up. That's really amazing. Because this is a replica of the official version, some of the settings inside are almost indistinguishable from the genuine version. But since it's a standalone version, there must be some powerful equipment or something, otherwise how can one be a boss? The character has been built and is a human warrior. Of course, the name is Sun Bai. Just as he was about to try it out, the phone rang. It turned out that his friend had already opened a room and was waiting for him to open it. The computer configuration is good, and there is no problem with dual opening. Sun Buki hung Warcraft while playing in double rows with his friends, and soon the game began. He chose a Sean. This hero was both an AD and an AP before the redesign, so whoever caught will die. However, now it has declined and can only serve as a jungle and flesh shield. Don't be cowardly, do you know how to play wild games and send someone to death? That must be understood. Who wouldn't die, haha. At the beginning, Sun didn't hesitate to go directly to the red buff on the opposite side and wait. Under normal circumstances, the opponent's field should have killed the blue buff first. As expected, the opposite side went to kill the blue buff, and son Buyao took the opportunity to snatch both the red buff and F4. Thane's passive skill Death Glory Brushing Wild Monster is very awesome, and his first skill point is W, Soul Melter. The first wave of wild monsters increased his HP by 30 points. After the resurrection of the characters, son Buyao did not buy equipment, but went directly to his own wilderness. Taking advantage of this gap, he pressed the switch button on the keyboard, wanting to cut out and see the characters in Warcraft. But at this moment, what was supposed to happen was finally about to happen. Will the keyboard leak electricity? How could this be possible? But if electric leakage can lead people through, then everyone must be eager for their keyboard to leak. Cold Ridge Valley, Anwemer Fortress. Anwemer Fortress belongs to the jurisdiction of Ironforge, surrounded by mountains on all sides, and the altitude of the mountains is very high. The summit is covered with snow all year round, and even flight routes are not open here. The place where the highest flying griffin in the Alliance cannot fly is even more impossible for other forces, so this has also become a new training camp for the dwarves. Wake up, hurry up. If you don't get up again, I'll put you on the forge to bake. A thunderous shout startled Sunbu, but as he opened his eyes, a memory rushed into his mind, causing him, who had been preparing to sit up, to lie down on the bed once again. Minahir Port, Sunset Swamp, Father and Mother, and Moss Skin Jackal and Wolf Man, Moss Skin Secret Mage. After sorting everything out, son Buyao was already covered in cold sweat, while the person who woke him up loudly was wiping his sweat with a towel. Hey kid, you're okay. You scared me just now. What's wrong with you? Nightmares in broad daylight. Sun Bugue looked at the old man in front of him, two memories slowly merging in his mind. Uncle Honey, I'm fine. I had a nightmare just now, and now I'm much better. Ray Brad, Han E, this is the master and adoptive father of the original owner. Your body is also too weak. This won't work. What did you dream about just now? Uncle Honey gently touched his head and asked with a kind and caring expression on his face. Son Buki slowly sat up. I just dreamt about some scenes of my parents' tragic death, but I'm fine now. Don't worry about me anymore. Uncle Honey furrowed his brow and said in an angry tone, those damn moss and debris must be subjected to the most brutal revenge. Speaking of which, Uncle Honey sighed and continued, I've been busy crafting equipment for the mountain ranger these past few years, and I also have to take care of you. I don't have time to avenge my poor junior brother. In the memory of Sun Bu's fusion, Uncle Honey and his father were martial brothers. When his parents took him, who was 5 years old, from Selamo to visit his long-lost senior brother on a boat, they were ambushed by a moss-skinned wolf man in the Sunset Swamp. His parents and a group of 17 companions all perished, but he was lucky enough to be saved by the mountain patrolman at the North Gate outpost. Upon receiving the bad news, Uncle Honey was filled with tears as he retrieved Sunbu, who had been frightened and almost died, from the hands of the mountain ranger. From then on, he became the son of Han E, and his current race is the dwarf race. Child, you are already 9 years old and can no longer be as docile as before. You are a great and brave dwarf tribe, so I have decided. Uncle Honey stood up, his gaze deep and stern as he looked at Sun Buki. Starting from today, you will start practicing forging with me. Although you are not yet 10 years old, time is running out. Your father and I have inherited our skills, and you also need to participate in militia training. After you become a qualified dwarf warrior, you can fight out from the path of the Cold Ridge Mountain with integrity. Then go report to Iron Forge, become a mountain ranger, and seek revenge from those scumbags. Anwemer is a 3-story fortress, with all the first and second floors underground. It is a unique building of the dwarves, and the top 3 floors are outposts and defensive works. At the bottom level is the forging workshop, which includes Uncle Honey and a total of 5 forging masters who are busy day and night. Their job is to create equipment and weapons for the mountain rangers. The second floor is the dormitory residence, where hundreds of people live. Only 5 forging masters and the main person in charge of the fortress have a separate room. Son Buyao and his grandfather share a room because he is young and the son of Uncle Hani. After Uncle Hani went to work, son Byuki dragged his weak body out of the fortress. Looking around, there is a vast white snowfield. After finally adapting to the surrounding environment, son Buyao began to look around. In the distance, there are all towering mountains, firmly protecting this place. Not far from the fortress are countless huge pine trees, white snow, green pine, and muddy paths trampled by mountain patrollers. Son Byuki stood in the snow, his eyes fixed, and he passed for 10 minutes like that. I've traveled. A cold wind carrying several snowflakes blew into his neck, and after a shiver, he finally reflected. Isn't that right? Isn't it right? Is this all okay? At this moment, he didn't know whether to be grateful or regretful. But soon he perked up and settled in, thinking that the things he had or didn't have would be of some use. Role information. Son Buyao. Civilian, level 1. Strength. 17, endurance. 11, armor. 18, enhancement attribute. Critical strike 5%. The above are his basic attributes. Then there is the racial specialty, which is amazing. He actually possesses all the specialties of both the dwarf and human races. The speed of gaining diplomatic reputation has increased by 10%. Perception increases your detection level. Hammer weapons specialize in improving the accuracy of single-handed and two-handed hammers by 8 points. Sword weapons specialize in single-handed swords and two-handed swords, increasing accuracy by 3 points. After being killed, you will stand up again and your health will quickly lose. You can move and attack, and gain 100% health steal. Whenever a unit is killed, the maximum health increases by 2 points, and killing or assisting elite level units increases health by 10 points. Human spirit increased by 3%. Stone statue form, active skill instant CD 3 minute, immunizes you against bleeding, poisoning, and disease effects, and increases armor value by 10% for 8 seconds. Frost resistance reduces your chance of being hit by ice-based spells by 2%. Find treasure, active skill instant, tracking effect, and display nearby treasures on the map. Is that all? Does this not have any advantage as a traverser at all? There must be something else. Sun Bu, a well-behaved college student, was suddenly transported into the gaming world, and he didn't want to live a mediocre life. By the way. Skill book. Backpack. An email. He suddenly remembered that while downloading this game, he found a big shot from the UI forum to customize some things for himself. Excited, Sun Bai's face was filled with surprise. Those few things were impossible for anyone in this world, except for him. Quickly, he found the mailbox at the entrance of the fortress. As expected, all those things are here. I clicked on the first email. In addition to the contents of the package, there was actually a letter. Haha, how's it, brother? This is a professional skill book I helped you create. All the drawings in it are complete, and as long as you reach the level, you can start manufacturing. There are even better things to come. Trust me, your money won't go to waste. The sender's name is actually garbled. Who cares about him now? Son Byuki immediately took out the things from the package, and then a magical scene happened. 6 rays of light spewed out directly from his body, piercing through the clouds that remained in the cold ridge valley year-round. Fortunately, the duration of the light was only 1 second, otherwise things would have been bigger. The radiance dissipated, and Son Byuki eagerly opened his spell book and skill panel. Among the professional skills, all 6 of them had a full value of 700 points, at the Zen Master level. Forge. Leather making. Tailor. Alchemy. Cooking and engineering, all the blueprints have been learned. Not bad, not bad. That's all I need. I really didn't lose out on this money. Sun Buki stood in front of the mailbox, looking up and laughing frequently, but the laughter suddenly stopped in less than a minute. Oh. No, why are there only 6 professional skills? I remember there were a total of 13 professional skills in the game. After thinking for a while, Sun Bu finally remembered that there are still a few professional skills in World of Warcraft. Oh my. I regret it so much. Isn't it just spending some money? Why not learn all the professional skills? It's too late to regret now, but he quickly forgot about it because there were still 3 packages in his mailbox that he hadn't taken out. Open the second package and there will be no messages left this time. If you don't mind, just take out the items inside the package. It's 4 bags. He picked up one of the bags and carefully observed, and soon a small line of text appeared on it. Strongest backpack. Item level 0, bound after equipment, container, 38 grid backpack. Below is a note. Each space can stack 999 items, and weapons and equipment are also effective. Haha, this is great. You don't have to worry about things not being able to fit anymore in the future. The largest backpack in the game world is 34 squares, with a maximum stacking count of 200 and unique equipment. These 4 backpacks are all 38 squares, and each square can stack 999. Sun Buki put on all 4 of his strongest backpacks without saying a word, but that's not all. When checking his backpack, he surprisingly found that there were still 3 items in the first strongest backpack. Lion King Shuma. A highly growing combat pet that can be used by any profession and can grow with its owner. Every 10 levels, it will randomly learn a pet skill that can increase its owner's attributes by 10%, including strength, endurance, agility, armor, critical strike, haste, omnipotence, etc. Level 20 is required. This is amazing. It can be used by any profession. When I reach level 20, I can use it. From now on, I won't be fighting alone. There are still 2 items, keep driving. This money will be spent. I really want to kiss the boss a few times. Next is an item with a phoenix avatar, and Sun Buyao muttered, isn't it another combat pet? After careful observation, he found that it was a flying mount. Ashes of AO. Bound, mount. Use. This is a very fast mount that is not limited to land and air. It can also move quickly in water and comes with stealth and flashing skills, which can be used while riding. Level 45 is required. Another treasure. A mount that can flash and become invisible. There was one last item in the backpack, and Sun Buki stopped thinking and took it out to check. Super Soul Stone. After binding, it cannot be traded or discarded. It can permanently preserve your soul, allowing you to resurrect from death. When resurrected, it has 80% health and 20% mana. Can be used 3 times a day. This is just 3 lives. It's over. My heart is so excited that I can't bear it anymore. It's about to explode. After Sun Buyao found out that he had traveled through time, he was still thinking that if he died here, would it be like in a game where he could find a profession that could resurrect him and save himself? What he is most worried about is that if he only has 1 life and dies, he will truly fulfill his request. How could he still be wandering here? Now that he has the Super Soul Stone, he no longer has to worry about dying. This needs to be bound quickly. It's even more valuable than my life. After finishing reading all the things in his backpack, Sun Buyao went to the mailbox and prepared to retrieve the last package. This is a silver white necklace, with a very handsome and domineering design. It looks like a sword, but also a bit like a cross. Killing. Slaughter. Artifact, item level 1, unsealed every 20 levels during sealing, necklace, bound after equipping, non-tradable and cannot be discarded. A growth artifact, the more monsters or enemies you kill, the faster the growth of the killing. +1 strength +1. Agility +1 endurance equipment. For every 100 enemies of the same level killed, a free attribute point will be automatically generated, which can increase in strength, agility, endurance, intelligence, and spirit. 0/100, Equipment 2, Ceiling, Equipment 3, Ceiling, Equipment 4, Ceiling, Equipment 5, Ceiling, Equipment 6, Ceiling. This is the real artifact. As long as you kill monsters, you can always become stronger. This is a perfect match for a liver emperor like me. Sun Buyao put the necklace around his neck, and a faint soul slowly merged with him and the slaughter. After checking again and finding no omissions, Sun Buki took a long breath. Then his mouth tilted and he chuckled loudly. This world, I'm here. Newcomers and new works, I hope everyone can criticize and correct them more. Of course, you can also try collecting and recommending tickets. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. He wants to dominate. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. He wants to dominate. Hi. That hemp stick over there, why are you giggling there? A voice came over, and the volume was quite high. The voice was very familiar, and Sun Buyao looked towards the source of the sound. A dwarf woman wearing a grass-green military uniform stood on the steps of the turret not far from him, watching him. Suya, the name immediately came to her mind, and in just 1 second, Sun Bai remembered many things. Suya is the daughter of another forging master. She is already an adult, but she is less than 1.2 meters tall. Although Sun Buyao's current body is only 9 years old, his height is not low. With a height of 1.5 meters, he stands out among the crowd in this area. Although Suya is not tall, she has long joined the mountain ranger team and is still an elite pastor. She is very popular in Anwemer Fortress. The marriageable youths in the fortress are all determined to pursue this flower. Oh, it turns out to be Sister Suya, hello. Sun Bugue smiled and nodded at her as a gesture of goodwill. I was just thinking about something and didn't notice you. Is there anything I need to do? Suya jumped down the stairs and quickly arrived at him. Her face was very pale, and she spoke to Sun Bu in an unhappy tone. Of course there's something wrong. It's not your old man yet. He insisted that I come over to help you take a look, saying that you've been looking very bad lately and often have nightmares. As she spoke, she reached out and patted Sun Bai's shoulder. Ouch! The force used in this slap was quite strong, almost knocking Sun Buyao down and making him scream out in pain. Look at you, I don't even know how you become a dwarf. These thin arms, these thin legs, and these thin waist. You're really embarrassing us dwarves. Sun Buki stood up straight in pain and began to scrutinize himself. If we look at the normal human body shape, Sun Buyao is really not weak. At least he has some muscles on his arms. In recent years, he has often helped Uncle Han Yi with his 10-pound hammer and has been practicing it. But according to the standards of the dwarves, he is a weak chicken. What's going on? You're still not convinced. Look at you, how did your body develop? It doesn't grow towards the width and inside, it's desperately soaring high, it's all deformed. Suya placed her hands on her waist, which was as thick as a bucket, and pointed at Sun Bugue. There's no way, the dwarves value strength as their beauty. Regardless of gender, if they don't have a waist of 4 feet or more, they will be laughed at by others when they go out. Seeing that Suya was about to reach out and pat himself again, Sun Buki quickly dodged her blow. Don't do anything, Sister Suya. Just my body and bones. If you slap me a few more times, I'll definitely be finished playing. I'll trouble you to resurrect me then. Suya withdrew her hand and gave him a fierce glare before saying, revive you. Look at you. If you don't exercise well, even the stone pallet man can defeat you. Moreover, if you don't study the knowledge in the school well, do you resurrect you? Read some books carefully. Upon hearing these words, Sun Bai felt that the resurrection was different from what he had imagined, so he quickly asked, Hehe, this is not a nightmare I've been having lately, so I dozed off during class. Don't you remember? Then please ask the lovely sister Suya to tell me more. Upon hearing Sun Byuki say she was cute, Suya's face immediately turned pink. Kid, I'm not very good at it, but my mouth is very sweet. Ha ha ha, I'll talk to you today, big sister. Then thank you very much, Miss Suya. Ha ha ha, it's okay. After a few hearty smiles, Suya began to educate Sunbu on science. In no time, he knew what was going on. It turns out that resurrecting a person is not an easy task. Firstly, the first point is that the person who wants to be resurrected must have a complete body, with no missing bones, no missing arms or legs, and no missing fingers. Secondly, resurrection takes place in the altar, and casting resurrection spells requires 5 priests to cast them together. Thirdly, casting resurrection requires medium materials, which are quite rare and expensive. In short, if you want to resurrect, you can, but you need to pay extra. And after resurrection, the level of the person will decrease and there will be a 6-month period of weakness, during which they must rest in bed and be served with good food and drink. However, after resurrection, all the wounds on the body will heal, and even the traces of stitching will not be left. After learning about these things, Sun Bai became increasingly fond of the Super Soul Stone in his backpack. Alright, that's it. Now that you're seated, I'll cast a purification spell on you to help you eliminate any illnesses in your body. After Sunbu sat up straight, Suya began to use her skills. A series of mnemonics were recited from Suya's mouth, and then a gentle breeze slowly enveloped Sunbu's whole body, warm, like the scorching sun in spring, making people want to close their eyes and sleep. The spell casting was quickly over, and Sun Bai didn't rush to open his eyes. Instead, he slowly savored the fleeting sensation in his mind. But soon his actions were shattered. Hurry up, are you slacking off again? I really don't know how the old man in the cold chair taught you. If it were my old man, he would have swollen you long ago. Sunbu's body was almost shaken apart by her, and Suya didn't know what it meant to cherish fragrance and jade. When she saw Sun Byuki open his eyes in panic and quickly stand up, Suya's eyes showed sympathy and disdain for the weak. Before Sunbu dared to speak, Suya quickly picked him up and walked towards the distance. Big sister, be gentle and let go of me, okay? You hurt me, where are we going? Sun Byuki resisted while pleading for mercy, but all of this was in vain. Suya didn't care what he said. While dragging Sunbu away, she said to herself, Uncle Honey is too busy. He has already entrusted you to me for guidance. From now on, you must listen to me in everything. I don't care about forging. Your task today is to kill 10 stone pallet men. What? Sun Buyao knows about the stone pallet man, and his memory of this creature is still fresh in the original owner's memory. This humanoid monster lives in the Cold Ridge Valley. They are omnivorous monsters, and the small animals in the valley are not eaten less by them. They are slightly taller than the dwarves, with no flesh at all, blue skin, protruding fangs, and 3-toed feet. They don't have much strength, often carrying a bone as a weapon in their hand, and they bully the weak and fear the hard. When they encounter someone they can't beat, they run away and often come out in groups to move around. The original owner of this body once met a stone pallet man when he went out. At that time, he was only 7 years old and not as tall as the stone pallet man. When the other party saw him alone, they hid behind a tree and launched a surprise attack on him. That time he didn't run fast, but later he met a mountain ranger, so there was no need for Sunbu to travel through this level. He was rescued, but he rested for a whole week before getting out of bed. Although the pain had healed, his memory still hurts. I'm not going. Kill me, I'm not going either. This sentence was really not spoken by Sunbuyu, but by blurting out the remaining memory in his body. What are you afraid of? With me around, you won't get hurt. If you're a dwarf man, you must kill 10 today. Don't let me underestimate you. This time Sun Bai didn't speak again, and he felt the remaining dominance in his body slowly dissipate. The original owner completely left this world, leaving only memories. And fear, sadness, and timidity all dissipated with the original owner. Suya, who had been walking with Sun Buki for a while, noticed that the people behind her did not make any more mournful cries or struggle, so she stopped and turned to look into Sun Buki's eyes. Why didn't you shout? Sun Bugue just looked at her and didn't speak. Suya glanced at him a few more times, with a hint of recognition and encouragement in her eyes, and then she spoke up, "It seems you have understood, Not bad, that's right. This is what makes you a dwarf man. Haha, kid, from today on, your life is about to begin towards glory, and I am your guide." Sun Bu's life did indeed start from today, but he felt that the words, brilliant, were not suitable for him. He wants to dominate. Without Su Yaqiang pulling hard, they followed behind her without hesitation and quickly arrived at the area where the stone pallet people often frequented. Don't be cowardly, you don't have to be afraid. I'm here for everything. Although you're still just a commoner, you must be able to kill this kind of garbage and stone pallet person. I'm here to give this to you. It was Uncle Honey who asked me to give it to you. She handed Sun Bu a long sword as she spoke. Don't hesitate to take the long sword and take a look. Civilian sword. Item level 3. One-handed sword, deals 1.2 damage, with a speed of 2.8, 0.6 damage per second. What is this? Seeing Sun Buyao's disdainful expression, Suya beside her spoke up, I know you think this equipment is very poor, but you need to understand your own identity. You are just a commoner now, and you can only transfer to a professional after your level reaches level 10. At that time, you can find specialized mentors to learn skills and become a professional based on your strengths or preferences, but now you can only use this type of weapon. Even if you want to use better standard weapons, you still need to be able to hold them. Seeing a skeptical gaze, Suya shook her head in anger and then took out another weapon. Double-edged curved blade. Item level 16. Single-handed blade. 3.5 damage points. Speed 1.6, damage 2.2 per second, and a line of words appears at the bottom of this weapon. Level 11 is required. Do you understand? These weapons are in demand, and if you don't reach a specific level, you won't be able to pick them up. I see. Sun Buki understands now, aren't these just some restrictive measures in the game? Build a level 1 account and bring a level 99 bully weapon with you when you go out. A level 20 monster will be shot dead, and a level 30 monster will also be shot dead. Isn't that enough to disrupt the game balance? After thinking it through, Bugui clenched the sword of the commoner and said to Suya, Sister Suya, I understand now. Shall we start now? Seeing Sun Bu's current behavior, Suya smiled and encouraged, you don't have to worry about anything. I will apply a magic shield to you, and these stone pallet men won't be able to harm you. You can rest assured and go ahead and strike boldly. Okay, then I'll go. Sun Bu's face wore a brave expression of determination, and without looking back, he walked into the cave ahead, while Suya followed from afar to protect him. Not long after entering the grotto, Sun Buyao encountered the first monster he encountered in this world, the stone pallet invader. Now, apart from a weapon in his hand, he has almost no defensive equipment on his body and is wearing a blacksmith apprentice suit. But now is not the time to be cowardly, I saw him shouting loudly. Oh, no, I shouted loudly in someone else's cave. That was something that Erbi Kai did. I saw him stop and lean his back against the wall, holding the civilian sword tightly in his hand. The Screen Master breathed and waited for the patrol monster to arrive. Just as the footsteps on the opposite side were about to reach his position, a layer of shield suddenly appeared on his body. True word technique. Shield. This shield came too timely, just stuck in a crucial position. When the stone pallet invader saw Sun Buki and charged towards him, the shield came. With the shield in place, Sun Bu's courage immediately grew stronger. He lifted his sword and swung it towards the opponent's forehead. The battle came to an end soon. As a first-level monster, if it could kill the intruder, then it would be the protagonist. Killing the stone pallet invader, Sun Buyao suddenly saw a flicker of light on the corpse. Is this the legendary corpse picking? Sun didn't hesitate anymore and squatted down. His hands began to grope on the body. On the corpse of the stone pallet invader, Sun Buyao found 4 copper coins, and his experience points increased by 10 points. The experience value required to level 2 is 100 points, which means that as long as he kills 9 more stone pallet invaders, he can level up. But what are the benefits of upgrading? Killing 100 likes is the right thing to do, but fortunately, every time you level up or not, you need Sun Bu to control it yourself and it won't automatically increase. Let's kill enough attribute points first. With Suya's support from behind, Sun Buki's first battle on the continent of Azeroth began with great fanfare. 3 hours later, Sun Buki took the bread and water handed over by Suya and sat on the ground, trying to replenish his energy. In these 3 hours, he killed 99 stone pallet invaders, and his experience points were already sufficient. He has been spending at level 1 and has not upgraded, just for that little bit of freedom attribute. What's wrong with you today? Why are you working so hard? Did you take the wrong medicine? Just giving you a shield almost depleted your magic. Looking at Sun Bu, who looked completely different from before, Suya didn't doubt anything. She just felt that this kid had truly awakened, which was a good thing, and it was under her leadership. She was happy as if she had saved the whole world. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just want to kill them all, but I'm really tired today. My hands hurt so much I can't even lift my sword. I'll kill the last one and we'll go back, okay? Sister Suya, who was understanding, naturally readily agreed to his request. However, the stone pallet invaders inside the cave have been completely killed by him alone, and no more living creatures can be found. The 2 of them had been wandering for almost half an hour, but couldn't find one. Finally, they decided to leave the cave first. Unexpectedly, as soon as they left the cave, an unruly young wolf with fur appeared in front of the 2 of them. This kind of beast is also a willing resident of the Cold Ridge Valley, but their number is not very large. At the moment when Sun Bu saw the young Peng Mao wolf, he went crazy. He laughed and held his sword, charging forward at the fastest speed in his life, and directly stabbed the belly of the young Peng Mao wolf with a sword. However, the Peng Mao young wolf is a 3rd-level beast, and this knife cannot kill it. The situation reversed at that time. Sun Bu urged his arms to tightly protect his face, while the Peng Mao young wolf fiercely tore at his clothes. After Suya reported that he had knocked the young wolf with a stick to death, Sun Buki was already lying in a pool of blood. However, this freedom attribute has been obtained. Slaughter. Artifact, item level 1, unsealed every 20 levels during sealing, necklace, bound after equipping, non-tradable and cannot be discarded. A growth artifact, the more monsters or enemies you kill, the faster the growth of the killing. +1 strength +1. Agility +1 endurance equipment. For every 100 enemies of the same level killed, a free attribute point will be automatically generated, which can increase in strength, agility, endurance, intelligence, and spirit. 102/100, originally, this kill point can be accumulated. I am here seeking various things, such as collecting, voting, and investing. I hope everyone can catch up with the latest chapters every day. This is very important for the author, please. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. My health bar is a bit long. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. My health bar is a bit long. This kid is really fierce. You don't know what happened yesterday. He killed all the monsters in the stone pallet cave alone, and I just followed him from a distance to protect him. That's for sure. The stone pallet people only bully the soft and fear the hard. If they saw you, they would have run away in fear long ago. The person speaking was another mountain ranger, who was also familiar with Sun Buyao. There are less than 300 people in the Hanji Valley, and with the prestige of Uncle Honey in the fortress, it's not surprising that everyone knows Sun Buki. Ha ha ha, if I had known this kid would awaken in your hands, I should have handed him over to you long ago, old man. Uncle Honey, holding a bottle of dwarf malt wine in his hand, said loudly to Suya with a drunken expression. Suya revealed the little woman's clenching and chuckled lightly, saying, "This is his own talent. I just gave him some strength, not my credit." However, in the end, the furry young wolf injured him and made him unconscious. "It's my fault. How can I blame you for this? It was that kid who blushed and rushed up on his own. I haven't thanked you for your life-saving kindness yet. Since Uncle Honey said that, then help me build a green level wand." The men and women of the dwarves are very straightforward. They say that if they want to repay, they must do it, and if they want a wand, they are also asking for it. Ha ha ha, no problem. Anyway, I'll leave the person to you. As long as you can take him to level 10 and make him a qualified soldier, I'll help you craft a blue-grade wand. Uncle Honey was particularly happy today. His son was finally uplifted, and he killed all the stone pallet people in the cave alone. This is great news. If he doesn't get drunk when encountering such a good thing, he will be too sorry for himself. They have been drinking since last night when Suya carried Sun Bu back. Sun Buyao was awakened, and when he woke up, the pain on his body erupted violently, making him moan uncontrollably. But no one heard his voice at all. Which person here has a low voice? He waited until the pain on his body had eased a lot before slowly sitting up on his own. Look, he's awake. Finally, someone with sharp eyes saw his movements, and after shouting loudly, the room suddenly calmed down, and the party should have ended. After Uncle Honey finally saw off those drunkards, Sun Bugue got off the bed. "How is it? Has your body recovered yet?" Uncle Honey approached him and asked. Looking at the caring gaze of the old man, Sun Buyao felt warmth from the bottom of his heart. It was the care of his family and the love of his elders. "Well, the recovery is good, but the wound still hurts a bit." Sun Buki replied with a smile. "That's good, then you can start working now and make up for yesterday's construction work. Come on, my son." After Uncle Honey finished speaking, he took out a 10-kilogram forging hammer from his backpack. "This forging hammer was given to me by my master when I was an apprentice. Now I am forwarding it to you, and you must protect it." After finishing speaking, he put the forging hammer into Sun Buyao's hand, then turned around and left. Sun Buyao stumbled under the weight of the forging hammer in his hand. You. He was immediately confused, his mouth was empty for a long time without finishing a whole sentence. Is this the love of the dwarves? After the old man left, Sun Buyao threw the forging hammer into his backpack and then opened his character panel to start checking. He first converted 100 killing points from the killing artifact into a free attribute point, but at this point he felt a bit embarrassed. Should we first increase strength or endurance? Strength can increase one's attack power, so that they can brush monsters faster in the future. However, endurance is the foundation of survival. Even if he has a powerful soul stone, he cannot easily let the enemy kill him. Just as he was struggling with which attribute to add first, his eyes accidentally scanned his own health. 299, this is impossible. He remembers clearly that before he went to kill the monster yesterday, his health was only 99 points. Where did these 200 points come from? The clothes on his body were still the same apprenticeship suit. After checking his own condition, it was normal and no one had applied any buffs to increase his endurance. How could 200 health points come out of thin air? It's unbelievable. Suddenly, a thought flipped through his mind. He rolled his eyes and quickly opened his spell book to check for his racial expertise. This is really amazing. He. After being killed, you will stand up again and your health will quickly lose. You can move and attack, and gain 100% health steal. There's another one behind. Every time a unit is killed, the maximum health increases by 2 points, and killing or assisting elite level units increases health by 10 points. That's it. Hee hee, ha. I see, I actually made Sean's 2 passive skills my racial specialty. This surprise is too shocking. Sun Buki's face was ecstatic, and he kept muttering, I've made it, I've made it, I've made it. A regular unit has 2 health points and an elite level is 10 points. When Sun Bugue thought of the overwhelming monsters in World of Warcraft, he was surprised. How long does my blood stick need to be? After being excited, Sun Buyao began to ponder another specialty, Death Glory. However, I am still not quite sure about the effect of this skill. We cannot let him die just for the sake of experimental results. Now it's stable. Sun Bugue stood up with one hand, clenched his fist with the other, and struck 3 times with force. Finally, the free attribute points were added to the strength points, and with the special effect of the soul melting pot, is endurance still worth worrying about? After eating something, Sun Buyao went to the forging house. The old man just glanced at him and then continued to work on his own. The other people in the forging room happily greeted him, and now everyone knows about the crazy thing he did yesterday. Sun didn't hesitate or care. Now he must first complete the task in the forging room. To forge 100 iron ingots every day. I took out a forging hammer weighing 10 kilograms from my backpack. The hammer looked small and had a considerable weight. For him, who was only 9 years old, it was still a bit heavy. He used to use 5 kilograms all the time. But this is not a problem, he needs to quickly complete the task here, and then go brush monsters, brush endurance, and brush strength points. Watching Sun Buki meticulously completing the task assigned to him, Uncle Honey's lips curled up in secret. In 3 hours, my clothes were dry and wet, wet and dry again. The temperature in the forging room was not low, and I finally completed all the tasks from yesterday and today. Uncle Honey, all my tasks have been completed. Can I go practice killing monsters with Suya now? Go ahead, she's waiting for you outside the fortress. Remember to be careful. Okay, then I'll set off now. After Sun Buyao walked out of the forging house, the loud voice of Uncle Honey spoke up, ha ha ha, how's it going? Everyone has seen it, my son will definitely become a warrior of the dwarves in the future. Arriving at the entrance of the fortress, Sun Bugue saw Suya's figure in just a few steps. Seeing Sun Bu's arrival, Suya said to him angrily, why has it been so long? I've been waiting for so long and I'm almost asleep. Sister Suya, I only came out after completing all the construction work from yesterday and today. Look at my hands shaking. Suya looked at his palm upon hearing this, frowned, and said, then don't go kill monsters today. You can take a day off. Now Sun didn't hesitate to be impatient anymore. He took one step and stepped in front of Suya, blocking her from preparing to leave. Big sister, I was brought out by you. How could I shrink back and evade because of such a small matter? Isn't that embarrassing for you? Hee, besides, I'm a dwarf from our Enwemer fortress. This little injury is nothing. In just 2 words, Suya was comforted. Ha ha ha, of course, the people I brought out can't retreat. So today our target is the 2nd level stone pallet thug. As she spoke, Suya's big hand had already patted Sun Bu's back. Bu Chi stumbled and almost fell, but he quickly asked in a puzzled tone, Sister Suya, why did you kill the 2nd level monster today? Why isn't it level 2? You killed 99 stone pallet invaders yesterday, haven't you reached level 2 yet? So what happened here? I'm already level 2, but killing more stone pallet monsters would be beneficial for the safety around our fortress, wouldn't it? Suya's plump lips trembled as she looked at him with indifferent eyes and said, what is there to threaten with those 1st level stone pallet monsters? Even if there are 10,000 of them, they won't pose any threat to me, let alone the others in the fortress. Besides, you ended them up together yesterday, and they won't refresh for a week. I have learned another common sense. I've listened to Sister Suya. I won't have any second thoughts about what you're saying to kill. Is that right? After speaking, Suya led Sun Buki towards the position of the second-level stone pallet thug. I also found an opportunity to elevate my level to level 2. On the way, Sun Bugue chatted with Suya while walking. Sister Suya, you are now an elite-level pastor. What is your health value? Suya didn't turn back and continued walking forward. My current health is 473 points, and my magic is 345. After you reach level 10, you can break through the path of Hanji Mountain and reach Ironforge. There are Legion officers there who can advance you to become soldiers. Then you continue to do tasks, kill monsters, and after reaching level 20, you can start working as a professional. Hey, have you figured out what kind of professional you want? Speaking of this, Suya stopped and turned to look at Sun Bai, who was waiting for his answer. After hesitating for a moment, he replied, I want to work as a warrior, wearing armor and holding 2 swords. How majestic. Well, your choice is pretty good. Judging from some of your performances yesterday, you are very suitable for melee combat, with a strong drive to move forward. Sun Bugue touched his neck and looked at Suya with a chuckle. But I don't think warriors are your end, do you know heroes? Heroes. Yes. Hero. Heroes are not professions, but the highest achievement of each profession. After you take on the warrior profession, you can pass the trial missions of the Iron Hearth Legion at level 30. When you pass the nightmare level difficulty of the trial missions, you can advance to the elite level warrior. And now I am an elite pastor. Suya unconsciously straightened her chest as she spoke. Big sister is powerful, big sister is amazing. Although she couldn't understand the meaning behind these 2 words that Buyao shouted, seeing his expression, like those young dwarves who were crazily seeking their love, Suya thought it was a kind of admiration or admiration. This is not the end yet. At level 50, there will be an advanced Yi-Ning trial. Yi-Ning's trial task will be initiated by 2 of the 3 main cities. The trial tasks for advancing to heroes are jointly released and completed by the 4 major lords kings of the alliance. While Sun Buyao is still the first time he has heard of a hero at this level. What about after reaching the hero? Do you still think about reaching the hero's end? Once you reach the hero, it's the end of the profession. Do you still think of lords and kings? No, I'm just curious to ask. Although Sun Bu's question left her speechless, she still spoke it out. After becoming a hero, it becomes the level of a lord, and a lord is not the highest level in Azeroth. A disaster lord is the one. What is a natural disaster? Natural disaster. That's not the level you and I can inquire about and know about anymore. Kid, train well. If you can reach the silver hero level in your life, then Uncle Honey will probably just get drunk and die. The 2 quickly arrived at the activity area of the second-level stone pallet thug. Just like yesterday, I'll protect you from behind. Just kill them, go ahead, the future silver heroes of the dwarves, kill them all. After 9 hours of uninterrupted fighting, Suya drank all the magic recovery potions in her backpack before the 2 finally stopped and returned to the Anwamar fortress. The old man had already gone crazy drinking, and the news brought by Suya once again made this bearded dwarf spend a lot of money on alcohol. Sun Buyao, on the other hand, returned to his room to check his character panel. After he was upgraded to level 2, the killing artifact changed, and all 3 attributes became +2/+2 strength +2 agility +2 endurance equipment. For every 100 enemies of the same level killed, a free attribute point will be automatically generated, which can increase in strength, agility, endurance, intelligence, and spirit. For 76 out of 100, He killed a total of 475 second-level stone pallet thugs today, and his whole body was almost filled with killing energy and blood. The first-level monsters and small animals were frightened and ran away in panic. His current health is directly over 1,000. It's twice as high as Suya at the elite level. My blood bar is a bit long. And it's not as long as usual. Your health has reached 1250 points. Strength value 20 points, upgrade plus 1 point, free attribute point plus 1 point, endurance 12 points, upgrade plus 1 point. He is still wearing an apprentice uniform, but the old man was already in front of everyone just now and promised to give him a new set of clothes tomorrow for combat. Exchange 400 killing points for 4 strength points. Sun Buki's attack power has doubled compared to yesterday. Tomorrow, Sister Suya will definitely take me to kill monsters at level 3 or above. Let's just level up. Killing monsters at a lower level with a counterattack will not have any killing value or increase health. He tried today to kill a level 1 stone pallet man, and the result was as he expected. Killing a target at a lower level than oneself will not result in a kill point or an increase in health, while killing a monster at a higher level will double the kill point, but the health will still be 2 points. I'm so tired, I don't want to go to bed anymore. I'll continue brushing tomorrow. Seeking support. Please sign a contract, hehe. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. It's time to build some equipment for yourself. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. It's time to build some equipment for yourself. The next morning, he was awakened by the deafening snoring. He turned his head and saw that Uncle Honey had been lying next to him after drinking too much. This old man may have already used all the gold coins he had accumulated over the years to treat guests and drink. There's nothing I can do. Sun Yat-sen's behavior these past few days has been too impressive. Uncle Honey praises everyone and treats whenever he's happy, causing the liquor in the fortress to run out of stock. Cover the old man with a blanket, and Sun Bugui walked out of the room. Everyone we met warmly greeted him, and he has now become famous. Sister Suya has not been easy these days either. Many dwarves have come to her to help take care of their descendants. And the things that annoyed her the most were, of course, those marriageable dwarf youths. They were like bees attracted by flowers, circling around Suya all day and night, all kinds of courtship styles, acting in a dazzling way. Don't hesitate. You finally got up, hurry up and go training with me. Sun Buyao didn't even see anyone, so he was pulled out of the fortress by a force. Sister Suya, I haven't even completed today's forging task. When Uncle wakes up, he will definitely scold me. I don't care. Just leave the fortress with me now. These guys are so annoying, they're making a noise that my head is going to explode. Then I also need to complete the crafting task first. Don't mention the crafting task to me, I'm not a blacksmith. Oh, by the way, we went out with the task today. This is Sun Bu's first time dealing with a task. Didn't your old man tell you? When I woke up, he was still drunk. I know he's unreliable. Once you men grab your glasses, they won't remember anything. The thing is still because of him. Due to Uncle Honey's generosity, there hasn't been much wine left in the fortress these days, and the meat has been eaten up directly. So last night, the chef in the fortress posted a task. Dried hard meat and tender wolf meat. Hard meat jerky is made from the ribs of small cliff wild boars in the valley, while tender wolf meat is obtained from the fur of young wolves. And both of these beasts are at level 3, which is just right for Sun Bu to brush power points and health points. What are you waiting for? Let's go do the task now, and we can just avenge that day. Sun Buki is a vengeful person. Although the scars on his body have been healed by Suya's healing technique, this revenge must be avenged. Without hundreds of killing points, how can he withstand the revenge of biting that day? I know you hold grudges, Our dwarves will seek revenge. Putting aside the task of crafting for now, Sun Bucheng followed Suya's buttocks with his sword in hand. Quickly, the two arrived at their destination. There are quite a few small wild boars on the steep cliffs here, and the mountains are full of them. The young wolf with fur is very rare, but it's not surprising. If the wolf has more meat, wouldn't it disrupt the ecological balance? After a busy day, the two finally wiped out all the living creatures in this area, with over 60 pieces of tender wolf meat alone. After they returned to the fortress, someone notified Sun Buyao that it was Uncle Honey who asked him to come back and go see him. Sun Bu pouted and said to Suya, "You probably noticed that I didn't complete the crafting task, so you're going to take care of me." Suya smiled happily and said, "This has nothing to do with me, but for your obedience these past few days, I'll teach you a trick." "What? What?" Sun Buki exclaimed excitedly when she said there was a solution. "Hehe, when I handed over the task to the chef just now, I discussed it with him and he promised that in the next 3 days, Uncle Honey would treat all the wine and meat for free, but only 5 bottles of wine per person and no limit to meat." "Really? Why is the chef so generous today? Can you be generous? The meat we harvested today cannot be eaten by the entire fortress for half a year." Arriving at the forging house, Uncle Honey was sweating and working hard to build a pair of plate armor. After seeing Sun Buyao, he just glanced at him and then said, "Take out your forging hammer and work with me." The old man's words, of course Sun Buyao had to listen. He took out a 10-kilogram forging hammer from his backpack, and Sun Buyao joined the team of crafting it. The two have cooperated many times, there is no need to say more. Quickly, this plate armor was finalized. Although Sun Buyao did not actually craft a piece of equipment, his forging skills are now at the level of a Zen master. From the size of the armor, it is not surprising that this armor was made for him by Uncle Honey. Other dwarves are not as thin and long as him. After the complete crafting of this plate armor, it will be an hour later. I promised you yesterday that I would give you a set of combat uniforms, and now my promise has been fulfilled. After speaking, Uncle Honey took down the other 4 pieces of equipment from the nearby shelf. Adding the pre-made armor, these 4 pieces are helmet, gloves, pants, and shoes. "Thank you, Uncle Honey." Sun Bugue sincerely thanked the old man as he looked at the sweat on his body. If it weren't for Uncle Honey taking care of him all these years, his heart would have died from exhaustion due to excessive fright. And Uncle Honey, in order to take care of him, dragged on a lot of relationships before joining the dwarves. P.S. However, Sun Buyao will never thank him for this matter. "It's okay, my child. As long as you can make a name for yourself, it doesn't matter if I'm any tired, old man. You must work hard and become a professional to avenge my poor junior brother and his wife." "Don't worry, Uncle Honey. I will definitely become a professional, and I also want to become a hero." "Ha ha ha, I knew my eyesight wouldn't be wrong." Uncle Honey heard Sun Bu's words, tears streaming down his cloudy eyes. "Your talent is in combat, so you don't have to complete crafting tasks every day anymore. I have already agreed with Suya to teach you wholeheartedly. You are a warrior, not a blacksmith, and your father and I will pass on our skills to others, so they won't be lost." Although Uncle Honey said so, the desolation in his eyes couldn't escape Sun Buki's gaze. He immediately interrupted the old man's words. "Uncle Honey. What are you talking about? Even if I become a hero in the future, can't a hero still have a hobby inside job? Forging is my hobby, and I will definitely persist. Please don't say such things again in the future. Of course, it would be even better if I could have a few junior brothers. When you recruit disciples in the future, tell them that their senior brother is a great warrior and also a forging master." The old man's eyes sparkled with a golden light, and his voice trembled as he said, "Really? Are you really going to continue learning the craft of me and your father?" Sun Buki gave Uncle Honey a positive look and said, "Don't brag. When I reach level 10, I will definitely create a set of green equipment for you to see." It was late at night, and the lights on the second floor of Anwemer Fortress were brightly lit. A dozen or so dwarf old men burst into laughter while pouring ale into their mouths recklessly. What a sin! After listening to Sun Bu's words, the old man burst into tears. He hugged Sun Bu and cried for a while. When he was tired from crying, Sun Bu thought he was going to rest, but in the end. Come on. My old buddies, I'm happy today. All the expenses will be covered by me, Ray Brad, and the cold chair. Let's not go home until we're drunk. 2470 health points. Strength value 26, plus 6 free attributes. Endurance 12. Surprisingly, level 3 did not increase attribute points. Killing point, 30 out of 100, after waking up from sleep, Sun Buki opened the door and saw a dozen or so drunkards lying on the ground at a glance. Hey! Arriving at the forging room, I wore all 5 pieces of equipment on my body. Uncle Han's craftsmanship is really impressive. Every piece fits perfectly, and the design is also quite imposing. Poor quality copper coat. Item level 7, chest, plate armor, 103 points of armor, requires level 2 poor quality copper helmet. Item level 7, chest, plate armor, 103 points of armor, requires level 2 poor quality chain armor shorts. Item level 9, leg, plate armor, 113 points of armor, requires level 4 poor quality chain armor gloves. Item level 9, hands, plate armor, 113 points of armor, requires level 4 poor quality chain armor boots. Item level 9, feet, plate armor, 113 points of armor, requires level 4 5 pieces of equipment added a total of 545 points of armor to Sun Buyao. Now he has directly become a high defense and high health MT. After going out, I met up with Suya and saw this set of equipment, even she couldn't help but praise it. Today their target is a special monster in the Cold Ridge Valley, a new recruit of level 4 Frost Main Trolls. Sister Suya, why are there new recruits from the Troll tribe in our dwarves training camp? When Sun Buyao saw the target they were going to hunt today, his mood suddenly became a bit restless. Although he didn't kill too many people from the tribe when he used to play games, now he travels through time and faces these living new enemy soldiers, he can't take action. It's normal to have new recruits from the Troll clan. These were all brought by us. In the entire Cold Ridge Valley, apart from a special elemental monster, they are the last training and challenge for you new recruits. Sun Bu's eyes swept over these new troll soldiers, and the shock in his eyes was immense. War was so cruel. Suya seemed to have seen through his thoughts. She gently patted his shoulder with her hand and said to him in a gentle voice, whether it's the tribe or the alliance, you new recruits have to go through this kind of test. Those who fail the test will not advance to soldiers. If you dare not take action now, whether out of fear, pity, intolerance, or sympathy, then in the end you will only be civilians. Sun Bu's hand trembled a bit, and he asked Suya in a trembling voice, do we have to kill? We must kill them. And we also need to destroy all these over 100 people. If you don't kill them now, how will you kill the enemy on the battlefield in the future? Killing is necessary, but there is no need to kill 100 people. This was imposed by Suya on Sun Bu. If you want to become a silver hero level professional, how can you grow without being ruthless? Sun Buki glanced at the sword in his hand and then at Suya, her gaze full of encouragement and expectation. He looked at these new troll soldiers again, who were not yet aware of what was about to happen and were still wandering around, some even grabbing nearby small animals to tear and eat. Seeing this scene, Sun Bu's cheeks twitched. One increases 2 health points. The other is 2 kill points. Kill. In the end, he picked up his sword and rushed over. Although these troll rookies are also level 4, they do not have weapons or armor, nor have they been deliberately trained. Compared to Sun Buki, they are not even as good as level 3 pony wolves. 3 days later. I have taken on a mission to purchase supplies from Dan Moro's liquor village. You have reached level 6 and there are no more monsters to compete with here. Moreover, you have killed all the monsters in the Cold Ridge Valley by yourself. Are you a pervert? Do you know how many people have come to me and Uncle Han E these days? The other recruits have no trained opponents left. How can you let them level up? Oh Suya, at most these monsters should be refreshed the day after tomorrow. They don't need to trouble me, do they just want to trick Uncle Honey into buying them drinks? I've seen through all of this long ago. Sun Buki, holding a piece of grass in his mouth, rode on a stone pier and casually chatted with Suya. It's a bit difficult for him to level up now. If he wants to reach level 10, he must do tasks. Killing monsters won't give him much experience anymore, and most importantly, he can't increase his health and killing points. Do you really want to go with me? I don't want to go. I have also taken on some tasks and have been helping my old man build equipment these days. Are you the only one? Are you still crafting equipment? Ha ha ha. Suya covered her meaty belly and laughed, almost splitting her breath. Don't underestimate people, as long as there are enough materials, I can make a blue outfit for you. Cut. I don't believe it. Although Suya's father is also a forging master, she doesn't have the talent in that area and doesn't like the high temperature in the forging room, so Sun doesn't dare to forge this matter. She's not sure yet. Alright, you bring the materials back and I'll help you craft the equipment. However, you need to bring double the materials, even if it's my labor cost. If the forging fails, I'll compensate you in full. These days, his forging work has not stopped. Even Uncle Honey was amazed by his learning ability, but it was all his pretending. He is at the level of a forging Zen master. In order to reach level 10 as soon as possible, he has taken on dozens of crafting tasks in a row these past few days. These tasks have given him a considerable amount of experience points, and some silver coins have also been credited. After he builds 3 more pieces of equipment, he can be promoted to level 7. That's what you said. We dwarves won't lie or default on our debts. Don't worry, I swear in the name of Ray Brad. Not to be discouraged. After Suya left, Sun Buyao returned to the forging room. In the past few days, he had already mastered those basic skills, no less than Uncle Honey. What he lacked was practice. In theory, he had already surpassed this era. Copper AP. Item level 11. One-handed. One-handed sword. 6.10 damage. Speed 2.6, 3.07 damage per second. Requires level 6. This is a weapon that Sun Buyao crafted for himself, but it's the only one. There's no way, all the other scarce materials are strictly controlled, and this one was made up of materials he secretly seized while crafting equipment for others. He has identified a set of equipment, a 5-piece set of iron-forged chain armor, ranging from level 11 to level 13, and will start working on it once he completes the task. These few pieces of equipment are difficult to deal with except for the peacock stone and tiger eye stone inside. There are all other materials here, and he did not deceive Suya. He did indeed take a liking to a level 30 blue staff, the law enforcement officer's staff. This equipment is just right for Suya to equip, which can be considered as his gratitude for taking care of herself in the past few days. Of course, the materials used for crafting must include malachite and tiger eye stones, and the more, the better. Another task has been completed. Sun Buyao just clicked to upgrade. A ray of light flashed by, he's at level 7. 74 health points. Strength value 39, plus 13 free attributes. Endurance 14. Killing point, 26 out of 100. Killing is also at level 7 plus 7 strength plus 7 agility plus 7 endurance. Comprehensive attributes, strength 46. Agility 7. Endurance 21, the agility attribute character panel does not display it. It will only appear when he advances to a professional level. Intelligence and spirit will only appear when he is an elite and a silver hero. Please sign a contract, collect, and recommend tickets. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Advanced Soldiers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Advanced Soldiers. A new week has arrived, and all the monsters in the Cold Ridge Valley have been refreshed, while Sun Buyao is still staying in the forging room. This is the equipment you have crafted. Uncle Honey's hand is the Iron Furnace Fortress Chain Armor Jacket that Sun Bucheng has just crafted. Iron Forge Chain Armor Coat. Item level 16. Chest. Plate Armor. 188 points of armor. Requires level 11. Yes, Uncle Honey, this equipment is my masterpiece of the past few days, and I have found the key to it. In less than 3 days, I can create my other kits. My dear child, your talent is really too powerful, even stronger than your father and me combined. Haha, my poor junior brother can rest in peace underground now. As people grow old, they like to reminisce. As they were speaking, the old man's tears flowed down again. After patting Uncle Honey's shoulder, Sun Bugue comforted and said, "Both my father and you will feel proud of me. In the future, your name will spread throughout the continent of Azeroth because you have a son who is a forging genius." Uncle Honey wiped away the tears from the corner of his eyes and said excitedly, "Yes. My son is a genius. Whether it's his combat talent or forging talent, no one in the entire Iron Forge can achieve my son's achievements." After comforting the old man for a while, watching him happily go find someone else to drink, Sun Buyao continued to forge equipment and brush tasks. He has reached level 9, and with one more level, he can participate in the trial training of the Cold Ridge Mountain Trail. As long as he passes, he can directly go to Iron Forge and join the army of the dwarves. I can reach level 10 by the afternoon of the day after tomorrow at the latest. I hope Suya can get the materials in time so that I can craft all the equipment. Did you buy a drink for such a long time? It's been 2 days now, and women are just not reliable at all, whether they're thin or fat. The next afternoon, Suya finally returned, bringing a full 20 barrels of ale and the materials that Sun Bai needed the most. Don't be cowardly, are you sure? I spent all my savings to obtain the materials. You don't know how cruel those cunning human merchants in the auction house are. If they can't, let others help me build them, although their success rate is not too high. Don't worry. Sun Buki gave Suya a winning gesture as she looked worried. I've said before, if it fails, I'll compensate you in full for all the expenses. You have to believe in my abilities. Didn't you see those 4 old men looking at me? Yesterday, they were fighting for me to become an honorary master. Isn't there no alcohol left in the fortress? They took out all the precious wine, especially your old man who took out the secretly hidden dwarf dark beer. I've asked this poor old man many times and he said he's finished drinking long ago. Humph. I'll go find his trouble later. Hee, alright, since I have the materials in hand, I'll start making them. If you want to see them, just stay on the side and don't talk. No problem, I still understand that. Because it was his first time crafting blue equipment, he first took out the material for forging Iron Forge chain armor shorts to test his hand. 1 hour later. You really created a green equipment in one go. This is too exaggerated. Even my old man couldn't have done it so quickly. I am a genius forging master, and green equipment cannot challenge me. After finishing speaking, he looked at Suya and said in a very serious tone, "Now is the critical time. Don't disturb me, I must succeed at once." Aha! The success rate of forging blue equipment is still very low. Although he has theoretical knowledge that surpasses everyone, in order to create blue equipment, one must step by step, and practice can produce genuine products. For the average person, blue equipment is considered a heirloom level equipment. Green equipment can now add attributes, while blue equipment can add at least 2 attributes, and blue equipment can produce special effects, which is the reason why blue equipment is powerful. Sun Bu hesitated, stretched lazily, shook his shoulders, shook his head left and right, and let out a loud snap of his joints. He took a few deep breaths to completely relax himself. This time, it took Suya a full 3 hours to build, and for the first time, she persevered without saying a word. She stayed on the side the whole time, her eyes fixed on the movements in Sun Bu's hand. When the final quenching was completed, Su Yafeng came to Sun Buyao's side like a wind and directly picked up the magic wand with a hint of high temperature. The Teaching Whip of the Mountain Ranger. Item level 42 handed staff 79.179 damage points. Speed 3.10. Damage 35.3 per second, plus 19 intelligence plus 15 spirit plus 5 endurance durability 100/100 level 31 is required equipment. Spell strength increased by 17 points. Equipment. Restores 9 mana every 5 seconds. Ah! After Suya finished reading the attributes of the staff, she screamed out loud. The attributes of this staff are directly the top of the line, and even some purple staff do not have such powerful attributes. It's not surprising that Suya screams in surprise. At the same time as Sun Buki heard the call, he quickly reached out to cover her mouth. Don't shout, do you want everyone else to hear you? After Suya's excitement subsided a bit, he slowly released his hand. Suya's face was still flushed, and she was puzzled. If this top-notch staff were taken out, it would definitely cause a sensation in the entire Iron Forge, but this kid's reaction was afraid that others would know. Do you know how much sensation this staff you have created can cause? Have you ever thought that with this staff, you can be on par with the forging masters in Iron Forge, and even surpass their reputation? Seeing Suya's confusion, Sun Buki's face turned pale. He smiled slightly and said to Suya, I know the attributes of this staff are very powerful, but I hope you can keep it a secret and not say that I made this staff. Why is this? Suya asked in confusion. I remember there's a saying among humans called, pretend to be a pig and eat a tiger, and there's also a saying that, Mu Xiu will destroy the forest wind. Suya listened in confusion as Sun Bai uttered these 2 words that she couldn't understand. Anyway, just one sentence, don't say I made it for you, otherwise you won't want me to help you make equipment again in the future, understand? Sun Buki said with a serious expression on his face for the first time. Seeing that he was serious, Suya stared at her round eyes and nodded fiercely. After Suya left, Sun Bu did not rest. He used the remaining materials to create all the 4-piece sets that followed. He slept until midnight, during which time Uncle Honey had already been called 3 times, but he was really too tired. After waking up, he went to the forging room and walked straight to Uncle Honey. What's wrong? My son, it seems you have something important to tell me. Sun Bu has been busy crafting equipment these days, and Uncle Honey's heart is already prepared. He knows that his son is about to leave. Dad, I'm going to participate in the trial task of the Hanji Mountain Trail. I don't know how long I'll be back after I leave. Sun Bu's words were not finished when he was interrupted by Uncle Honey. This is the first time in 4 years that you have called me Dad. You used to call me Uncle. I am very happy and proud. Since the day the Mountain Ranger handed you over to me, I have always regarded you as my own son. Before, I even beat you up because you didn't call me Dad. I hope you don't hate me. Listening to his father's words and watching his tears fall, Sun Bugue stepped forward and hugged him tightly. What are you saying? How could a son hold a grudge against his father? I will always be your son. Uncle Honey didn't wipe away his tears and just looked at him with tears in his eyes. My son has grown up and is about to break free from my shelter and venture on his own. You are my pride, the pride of our Anwemer fortress, Remember to work hard after going out, to become a respected warrior, and a hero that the enemy fears. Sun Bu's eyes became moist as he smiled at the old man and said, "I will definitely come back when I become a hero. I will come back to Anwemer to visit you and everyone." Ha ha ha. Uncle Honey laughed happily and said, "You don't need to come back to see us. This is the safest place in the Alliance. Unless the enemy destroys Iron Forge, no one can reach here. I don't need you to come and see me, as long as your good news can be delivered here, I will be very happy." Wiping away his tears, after spending less than 10 days with his departed father, Sun Buyao found the mountain ranger and began his trial training. The love of dwarves is deep, just like their body shape. Standing at the third-floor guard, Uncle Han Yi secretly wiped away his tears and his eyes never left Sun Bu's figure. The trial exercise is very simple. There are 10 batches of stone pallet attackers inside, and their task is to beat and maim you trial practitioners. Although they dare not kill you, they will closely monitor you. As long as you are not unconscious and your body can still move, they will continue to beat you. Saris, who was responsible for the trial task, told Sun Bu the rules of the trial and then turned his body aside. Behind him was the Cold Ridge Mountain Trail. Sun Buki put on his self-made equipment and bowed to Saris before entering the trial ground. The Hanji Mountain Trail is not long, only 3 kilometers away. In order to give the trial trainees time to rest and recover their strength, the distribution of monsters here is very regular. As soon as he entered, Sun Buyao discovered 8 level 3 stone pallet raiders. For him now, just relying on his health, standing there and letting them fight for a day, Sun Buyao wouldn't feel anything. In less than 10 minutes, he killed all 8 stone pallet raiders. Then he took another turn, and in front of him were 7 level 4 stone pallet raiders, who were also serving vegetables, and these monsters even had dried meat and spring water on their bodies. After killing 4 more batches of monsters in a row, Sun Buyao took a short rest. Although his defense was high and his health was thick, he couldn't withstand the group beating. He still left some wounds on his body to some extent. This is already the 8th group of stone pallet monsters. 2 level 10 stone pallet monsters. Sun Buki is now at level 10, although dealing with these 2 level 10 stone pallet monsters is not difficult for him, he has thought of another thing. The 8th batch is 2 grades 10, is the 9th batch 2 grades 11, and the 10th batch 12. If it were for other level 10 civilians, how could they pass? After much thought, it was all in vain. Sun Bugue picked up his copper-heavy sword and rushed forward. The battle came to an end soon, and Sun Buyao was only knocked down with less than 100 health points. He wiped away the blood from his sword and came to a corpse, ready to collect the spoils of war. But when he opened the body, he saw something he had never seen before. Skill book. Charge. Range of 8.25 yards, instant 5-minute cooldown time, charge towards an enemy. Deals 56 physical damage and immobilizes them for 1 second. Sun Bu's eyes lit up. He had no skills all along, and killing monsters relied solely on chopping. And now this skill book appears at the right time, the method of trial practice is here. But that's not right either. All civilians have no skills, and only after officially becoming soldiers will they have the skills to learn. And if I remember correctly, this skill is a skill for warrior professionals. Professionals can only advance after soldiers reach level 20. Just as he was lost in thought, a line of small characters on the skill book came into his eyes. The skills dropped from the trial site can only be used in the trial site. After completing the challenge, the skills will disappear. Oh. I see. There was nothing to worry about now, he clicked on the skill book of the charge skill on the spot. A memory surged into his mind, allowing him to learn the charge skill in seconds. Not bad, hee, it's just a slight pain in the brain. There were no enemies here for him to practice his skills, so after flipping through another corpse, he started walking towards the position of the 9th batch of stone pallet monsters. The 9th batch of stone pallet monsters are 2 level 12 creatures. In order to practice his charging skills more, Sun Bai fought fiercely with 2 monsters for nearly half an hour, finally practicing his skills almost. These 2 stone pallet monsters also lost their skill books. Ice Arrow. Within a 30-yard range 1.5 seconds casting time, 5 minutes cooldown, shoot a cold ice arrow at the target, dealing 18 to 20 frost damage and slowing their movement speed by 40% for 5 seconds. The skills of a mage. Is this to allow civilians to experience the effects of physical and magical attacks in advance? Anyway, there was no need to pay anything. Sun Bu was extremely willing and clicked on Learn on the spot. After learning it, he compared it and found that charging was still more practical. He just grabbed his weapon and rushed up to do it. The cold ice arrow was the same. He needed to judge the distance well, and his sister needed specific gestures, just like Hokage's handprint. It was too tiring. After practicing a few times, his fingers became sore. No wonder these cloth clothes are all working hard to increase their intelligence. This thing is really not fun without some brain, Sun Buki thought as he walked towards the last batch of stone pallet monsters. This is the last batch of stone pallet monsters, and Sun Buki started searching for his target from a long distance. Soon, he found it. A black robe tightly covers it, level 13. Stone Pallet Master. The last level is the legal profession monster. What's wrong with the monsters in the legal system? Is it just awesome in the legal system? Just do it anyway. Charge. Sun Buyao quietly touched the vicinity of the stone pallet monster, and when the distance was appropriate, a skill was thrown onto its face. 1 second of immobilization is enough for him to make a cut. But just as his heavy sword had already been raised, the opponent unexpectedly recovered ahead of time, or rather it had released its fixed control. I saw a sound wave coming from the other party, and Sun Buyao's brain was no longer under his control. His mind was filled with images of fear, forcing him to escape from this place as quickly as possible. For a whole 3 seconds, by the time he reflected, he had already established a certain distance from the sorcerer. At this position, he could only look, but the other party threw a series of magic bullets at him. I'm afraid of you with over 6,000 points of blood. I have no other ability but to have more blood, let you fight. Sun Buki roared angrily as he quickly moved towards the sorcerer. The attack power of the opponent's magic missile is not high, and every time it can kill Sun Buki, it costs more than 10 points of health. However, if it were to be replaced with other level 10 civilians, it would probably be hanging. Just brave the damage like this, and when Sun Buyao rushed to the front and back of the other party, he chopped wildly. Finally, the sorcerer died with resentment. Under normal circumstances, other people should find favorable terrain, control the distance, and slowly grind down this small boss. Because the skill books sent in the first 2 levels do not require magic and anger points, and can be used as long as time passes, while the opponent has magic points. As long as it consumes all the mana, anyone who goes up can pass the level. The last little boss dropped an advanced proof. With this proof, Sun Buyao went to Ironforge and found the Thunder Spear officer, and then he could advance to become a soldier. As he walked out of the trial training channel, several elite mountain rangers greeted him at the door, and soon he was taken to Ironforge. When he arrived, he rode a griffin and was a bit scared when he first sat down. It didn't take him long to get used to it, and his feet were covered in green pine and cypress, covered in a snowy plain. Seeing these, he is eager to advance. At level 20, his Lion King can be taken out. Can AO still be far away? The advanced program is very simple, just prove it directly to Lay Spear, and then he was taken to the Ironforge military district. After a series of procedures, he was finally assigned to Loch Moden, and the Griffin flew with him for 3 hours before reaching his destination. New identity, new battle zone, new starting point. Role information. Sun Buyao. Soldier, level 10. HP, 64-27 Strength. 42, Endurance. 17, Armor. 640, Enhancement Attribute. Critical Strike 5% Slaughter Level 10 plus 10 Strength plus 10 Agility plus 10 Endurance, 18-100, I am looking for a collection, a recommendation ticket, and finally, I hope the editors can take some time to read this book. I would like to sign a contract. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Interest Collection in Advance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Interest Collection in Advance, Braves. This is your new home, and also the place where you have made contributions and gained glory. I am the commander here, Knight Lieutenant Dre. Here, you must obey my command in everything. Under my command, only brave warriors can be found, and cowardly deserters are not allowed. Sun Buyao was assigned to the Selsama fortress, and on the day of the report, the commander began to lecture. He was a 45-level elite warrior, and the wound on his face was either intentionally left or caused by a special skill that could never be repaired. Anyway, there were 7 or 8 scars on his face. After becoming new recruits, they swore allegiance to the Human Alliance and the Bronze-Beard King, as all the necessary procedures must be completed. That afternoon, Sun Buyao was assigned to a soldier training camp, where he began formal and rigorous training. The skills obtained from practicing the trail in the Cold Ridge Valley have disappeared, but some new skills have been taught here. Basic melee attack, basic long-range attack, basic swordsmanship attack, basic hammer attack, basic axe attack, as well as basic shield defense. Everyone can choose at least 3 types to practice based on their hobbies and learning abilities. And Sun Buyao learned everything. Anyway, having more skills doesn't put too much pressure on one's body. Learning more skills will definitely be beneficial. On the second day of his arrival, he was assigned to the patrol team. He was originally quite happy about something, but Sun Buki couldn't be happy. Because all the veterans in the team have mounts, only he doesn't. After asking the captain, he found out that only those who have reached level 20 or above or become professionals can have mounts. Isn't this a commotion? You're all riding sheep, I'm just running around from behind. Fortunately, in addition to daily patrol tasks and training, he also has 6 hours of free time to move around. If he wants to catch up with everyone's level as soon as possible, he can only hunt monsters while others are not paying attention. There are a total of 12 people in his team, 1 mage, 1 priest, and the rest are all warriors. This combination is really strange, and there are 2 French professions. One is the captain and the other is the deputy captain. The elite priest at level 36 is the captain, while the ordinary mage at level 21 is actually the deputy captain. This makes Sun Buyao a bit dissatisfied. But who makes someone's intelligence high? Among the remaining teammates, there are 5 ordinary level warrior professionals at around level 30, and the other 5, like Sun Buki, are soldiers, below level 30. Their patrol route is from the fortress of Selsama to the Ogez outpost. Previously, each round trip only took 4 hours, but now with the addition of Sun Buyao, their patrol time has been extended. Can't you run too fast? At your speed, by the time we get to Ogez, their lunch will be long gone. The speaker is another level 24 soldier. Upon hearing this, Sun Buyao became a bit angry. You said that as a level 24 soldier, you have not yet completed the advancement of a profession, and you still have the face to preach here. Hey, if you find me slow, you can give me your mount. I'll tell you, even though I'm only at level 10, I've been riding sheep since I was young, and my riding skills are still good. Sun Buki pushed back his words. This guy's name is Sam. He's a black iron dwarf with a swollen nose that even covers his upper lip. Haha, do you still want to ride a sheep? Don't dream, a new recruit who just reached level 10. Let's talk about it after you reach level 20. Now, please use your calves to run faster. If you make me unable to eat lunch because of you, don't say I'm bullying you then. Sun Buyao couldn't bear this. Just as he was about to come forward and argue with the other party, the captain at the forefront of the team heard a commotion and rushed over. After asking the truth about the matter, he calmly looked at Sam. Bu Chi is a new recruit, and he is only 10 years old. Originally, he could have trained with children of his age in Ironforge, but he excelled in advanced soldiers' trials, which is why he was assigned to us. He is a key target specially transferred by the military to be cultivated, and I hope you won't have any further conflicts with him in the future. Sun Buyao was the first to know that he came here because of his outstanding test results. Then the captain came to Sun Buyao and looked at him kindly, saying, "Ray Brad. Buyao, I'm the captain of this patrol team. You can call me Sultan. I'm glad you're in my team." As he spoke, he reached out his hand. After Sun Buyao shook hands with him, the captain continued, "I usually stay in my room. If you have anything, you can come to me directly. I promise you that things like today won't happen again. Oh, by the way, I heard that you have great potential and may become a legal professional. So, you have to work hard. Legal professionals are very rare, and there will be special care everywhere, such as me and the deputy captain. We both have our own single rooms. After the patrol mission is completed, I hope you can come to my room to chat." After speaking, the captain left without waiting for Sun Bu to speak up. And the others in the team have already started whispering. No wonder he was assigned to us at level 10. It turns out he has a talent for the legal system and has been heavily trained. When I first saw him, I felt like he was a bit different from us. So that's why. You don't know, do you? I heard the person who brought him say that this kid only passed the trial in 90 minutes, and when he came out, he hardly suffered any damage. That's right, I've heard about it too. He got 2 skill books during the trial, one from the French department and one from the physics department. Impossible. In the trial, each person can only get 1 skill book. What do you think the trial is? It's testing his talent. If it's from the physics department, the skill book of the physics professional will drop, unless there is one possibility, which is that he has both talents. 2 talents. Are you serious? So he has the potential to become a hero. For a moment, everyone looked at Sun Bai, and the team fell silent, with the sound of a goat sneezing. Sun Buyao was also stunned by this information. It turned out that obtaining 2 skill books was to test his own talent. Soon the team began to move forward again. The scenery of Loch Moden is very beautiful, with green pine trees everywhere, and small animals occasionally running out of the grass on both sides of the road. Sun Buyao followed behind the team and observed the situation on both sides of the road, searching for suitable prey for himself. There are many types of monsters here, including spider forests lurking in level 14 black bears. He also saw an open-pit mine. After finally arriving at the Ogez outpost, Sun Bai almost collapsed from exhaustion. Along the way, he gritted his teeth and persevered. Although his health bar was very long, his endurance attribute was not high. When he returned, Sun Buyao found the captain alone. "Hello Captain, I would like to discuss something with you." Although he is tall, the captain knows his true age. "Kid, do you need my help?" The captain was still very polite, with a smile on his face. Sun was neither timid nor polite, he directly presented his ideas to the captain. "Captain, can we use our daily rest time to hunt monsters outside and improve our experience points? As you know, I have just reached level 10. If I only rely on the experience gained from daily training and patrol tasks, then I want to advance to level 20 as a professional. It's impossible to complete it in a year." After hearing his words, the captain furrowed his brow and thought for a moment before saying, "You're not quite sure about the distribution of monsters here. Although there are also level 10 monsters, most of them are level 14 or 5. If I let you go alone, I can't afford the problem." Sun Buki hurriedly said, "Captain, I don't need you to take responsibility for me, and my strength is also very strong. Have you seen the equipment on me? These are all self-made, and I can take responsibility for my own safety. What? The equipment on your body was made by yourself. It's impossible. You're only 10 years old, even if you started learning from your mother's belly, you wouldn't be able to make green equipment at the age of 10. The captain originally wanted to slow down son Buyao and let him go out to exercise alone to gain experience points after he reached level 15 in the fortress. But this kid actually said that he can craft green equipment. No one has mentioned this before. Captain, we dwarves won't deceive anyone. These equipment are indeed made by myself. I can take them off and show you their signatures. Speaking, Sun Bugue took off his gloves and shoes. The captain took the gloves and looked carefully, and really found the signature he had engraved on the equipment. So you're really a forging master. Haha, I never expected that there would be a forging genius in my team. The captain was very happy because most of the members of the team are still wearing whiteboard equipment. Did you agree to my request, Captain? Sun Buki quickly asked as he saw the captain's happy eyes squinting together. At this moment, the captain's eyes lit up with a glimmer of light. He stared at Sun Bai for dozens of seconds, then smiled and said to him, "Sure, but I have a request." In the end, their agreement was reached, which stipulated that before Sun Buyao reached level 15, someone must go with him every time he went out to hunt monsters to gain experience points. And these people are not free companions, they are responsible for Sun Buyao's safety, and Sun Buyao must create 2 pieces of equipment and 1 weapon for those who accompany and protect him. In this way, Sun Buyao began his new recruit life in Lockmoden. 3 weeks later. This kid is really a tough guy. Not only did he kill all the monsters on our team's patrol route, but he also killed the monsters on other patrol routes. That's right, the captain of the 7th team came once the day before yesterday to discuss with the captain about what kind of compensation he needs. What kind of compensation is needed? As long as those monsters don't interfere with patrols, they will definitely not diligently kill them before Buyao arrives. They just know that Buyao is a forging master, so they come here to bargain. Well, that's really shameless. I've heard about it. The captain of the 7th squad threatened that if he didn't craft 10 pieces of equipment for them, he would reveal that he wasn't a blacksmith. This lawless guy is so despicable. He just made me a piece of equipment now, and my weapons haven't even started making them yet. On the other side, in the captain's room. I don't care, everyone in our team must have a piece of equipment, otherwise you won't want to harm the monsters on our line. Listen to this, don't let the monsters that harm them. Sun Buki is also helpless. Who would let the people in the team show off? This immediately hooked up other people with eye-redness. No way. There are 12 people in your team, and it takes at least a month to craft 12 pieces of equipment. With this time, he can still level up by completing tasks. The captain strongly disagrees with his words. I don't care about these things. If I don't agree, I'll go tell the other team captains. You're really shameless. What do I need face for? What I want is equipment. No, that will delay his upgrade. His most important task now is to raise his level and then advance to become a professional. Just like this, the two of them were arguing back and forth, entangled and entangled. In the end, even Sun Bu's head was almost knocked out by the noise. But just as he was feeling dizzy and drowsy, wanting to sleep, suddenly a sentence entered his mind. I can also make the moss-skinned people on our team's patrol route refresh point come out. Mossy-skinned man. Sun Bu stood up abruptly and took 2 steps to reach the captain of the 7th team. The team leader was startled and his body trembled before taking a step back. What did you just say? There is a moss-skinned tribe on your patrol route. Sun Buki's expression was very excited, and his eyes widened as he questioned him. Yes. Yes, there is. Sun Buki smiled excitedly and said, Really? Really? Great. Then he turned around and looked at his captain. Captain, promise him that I can craft one piece of equipment for each member of their team, but the materials will be charged twice. The next morning, Sun Buyao got up very early. Since reaching an agreement with the captain, Sun Buyao has not participated in the patrol mission of the team again. His daily task is to kill monsters and then forge equipment. I'll take you to the Moss Skin clan now. Hahaha, I knew you only had this requirement. I really didn't deserve to get into such a standoff with your captain. What about that? You're at level 14 now, do you need me to send someone to protect you? No need, as long as you take me somewhere, you don't need to worry about anything else. No problem. Hahaha, come on, you go this way. After a 2-hour journey, Sun Buyao finally arrived at the place. Don't be cowardly, I usually don't give up the monster spawning points here to anyone else, you know. There is a silver level moss-skinned man in this moss-skin tribe. Silver level. Yes. Hehe, we come here every week to harvest a wave. Killing the Wise Claw chieftain will drop blue equipment, but you guys have a lot of free time. Killing silver hero level monsters drops blue equipment, which is true. However, they come to kill the Wise Claw chieftain once a week. This monster no longer drops blue equipment, and even green equipment depends on face. Now, 99% of the chieftain drops white equipment. But Sun Buki doesn't know about this. I don't take advantage of you either. Alright, as long as I kill the Moss Skin Man every week, I'll forge an extra piece of equipment for you every week. Is that okay? Haha, that's great. You said it yourself. We dwarf men speak with iron nails every word. Don't worry, I never break my promise. Looking at the gate of the Moss Skin Man tribe ahead, Sun Buyao recalled the scenes of his parents being killed in his mind. Moss Skin Man, let's settle our accounts slowly, but for now, let me collect some interest first. Sun Bugue, level 14. HP 10,552. Strength 82. Endurance 23. Armor 640. Killing point, 35 out of 100, all kinds of begging, the kind of throwing tantrums and rolling around. Brothers and sisters, please be pitiful and adorable. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Emergency Rescue. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Emergency Rescue. After seeing Sun Bue walking alone towards the Moss Skin tribe, the captain of the 7th team quietly returned to a safe location, and there was actually another person here, Sultan. Do you really trust him to deal with the entire Mosskin tribe alone? What's strange about this? You've never seen him slaughter like a crazy person before. This kid is a natural general, otherwise I could have put in so much effort to cultivate him. But there's also a silver level monster inside, can he retreat all over? That poor chieftain has already been killed by you thousands of times, right? Monsters like them that refresh every week have long been weakened and have no combat power. For Buyao, there should be no problem, and we are still here. What can happen to him? You're right, then let's wait and see. At this point, Sun Buyao had already touched the vicinity of the Mosskin tribe. Looking around, there were at least 200 Mosskin people in this area. Monsters above level 10 already have some basic attack methods. Some of these moss-skin people hold bows, some hold knives, and they also have scouts. As soon as Sun Buyao arrived within the alert range of the Mosskin tribe, he felt a blurry shadow shaking around him. He had already killed thousands of monsters, and there was still a sense of prevention. The other party clearly noticed that Sun Buyao had discovered them, so when Sun Buyao stopped walking, the other party also stood still. Do this with me. I've played thieves before. Before crossing over, he had not ventured into any other kitchen knife professions except for the legal profession, and he had played all other knife professions, even including the 3 series of Little D and Shamans. And his racial expertise includes the ability to improve the detection of invisible units. At this moment, several transparent figures stood still not far behind him, a total of 3, with the closest being less than 10 yards and the farthest being 40 yards. Hee hee. Sun Bu gave a sneer, and the axe in his hand spun a few times to play with a fancy twist. Then, he jumped up and jumped onto the head of the nearest moss-skinned man. This axe is a blue-level equipment he has recently crafted using materials provided by others, with a second damage of 15 points. Selsama Battle Axe, Blue, Item Level 21 Handed, One-Handed Axe. 25.48 damage. Speed 2.1, 15.2 damage per second, plus 7 strength plus 5 endurance plus 4 intelligence. Durability 42 to 42 level 14 is required before the other party could react. Sun Buyao had already struck the other party's head with both axes in a row, and the blood was flowing like a clatter. After he calmed the other two, they finally understood the situation. They released their invisibility, one took out a dagger and charged towards them, while the other raised their bows and arrows to start aiming. After all, rushing over also takes time, and the arrows shot were already aimed at Sun Bai's face in less than a second. Parry. Oh, oh. A bronze épée at level 6 and a blue battle axe at level 14 perfectly matched two different types of equipment, capturing the incoming arrows. This action confused Sun Buyao. Aren't parries usually used as melee weapons to deal with opponents? How can you still block arrows? But now is not the time to make him think too much, because the first moss-skinned person killed has already exposed its identity, the moss-skinned scout. What are scouts used for? Reconnaissance, warning, surprise attacks, and shouting people. Calling for talent is the most important thing. Although Sun Buki has already shed tens of thousands of blood, there are over 200 moss-skinned people here. If you give him one, he will fall. After parrying the arrows, the scout holding a dagger on the opposite side had also arrived at Sun Buyu's side. A white light flashed and Sun Buyu dodged it. Using the heavy sword in his hand as a shield, he smashed the opponent's face hard with the side of the sword. A pitiful barking of a dog came out, and the opponent had already curled up and fallen unconscious on the ground. Leave this fallen guy behind, Sun Bu's axe will go straight, flying axe. Because the long-range moss-skin scout has already set the second arrow on the bowstring. Although his health bar has now exceeded 10,000, he is not afraid of the dozens or hundreds of damage, but there is still a feeling of pain. At the moment when the other party turned to avoid the flying axe, Sun Buyao had already approached it. With one hand, he grabbed the other's hand that was pulling the bowstring, and the heavy sword in the other hand had already landed on its head. After killing this one, Sun Buki turned around and came to the side of the moss-skinned scout that had been knocked unconscious. He raised his heavy sword again and dropped it fiercely. In less than a minute, all three level 15 moss-skinned people should have vomited. However, Sun Buyao did not immediately go up to pick up items. Instead, he hid behind a big tree. The guy who was knocked unconscious by the heavy sword just now let out two mournful cries before fainting. In order not to startle the snake, he chose to wait. After waiting for a long time, there was no response from the tribe, and Sun Bu was relieved. These monsters that can refresh do not have much intelligence. They attack humans purely by instinct. If it were for other intelligent monsters, they would have rushed over in a swarm long ago. Based on Sun Bu's observations these days, he summarized the patterns of refreshing monsters in the wild. The preferred monsters are wild beasts, elemental creatures, as well as low-level demons, mechanical creatures, etc. They will refresh once a week, regardless of whether they have elite or silver-level monsters. However, humanoid monsters and other intelligent creatures such as dragons may not necessarily refresh after being killed, especially those forces that are hostile to the human alliance and have specific targets. Make sure the other party didn't notice, and Sun Buyao started retaliatory monster hunting. 5 hours later, the entire tribe was left with only the silver hero-level monster, the Wise Claw Chieftain, and its two little brothers, the Moss Skin Striker. Cien Claw Chieftain is clearly a French monster, and its two younger brothers are from the physics department. Currently, Sun Buyao does not have any practical skills, so there must be a certain strategy to kill them. It seems we need to break through each one. First, attract the younger brother to come and kill him, and then slowly deplete his blue. He does whatever he says when he thinks of this. First, he arrived at a position 35 yards away from one of the little brothers, then took out the throwing weapon from his backpack, aimed at the opponent, and threw it over. Basic long-range attacks, he also practiced quite a few times, so when he hit a hit, an unexpected thing happened when he felt that the opponent would definitely be chasing him. This moss-skinned batter didn't come to chase Sun Bu for a while, but barked a few times to report to the chief and another little brother. Upon hearing the alarm, all three monsters rushed towards his position. It seems that he cannot be killed separately. Fortunately, his health is so high that he can only fight hard. 10 minutes ago, he had already reached level 15, which was on par with the monster level here. His health had increased once again, and his two little brothers had rushed towards him, while the chieftain was throwing skills at him from a distance. Sun Bu's defense is not low. When my brother's big stick hits his plate armor, it can only damage his health by around 30 points, but it still hurts when it hits him. He faced one of them and his dual weapons directly blocked the opponent's attack. Just as he was about to draw out his hand to give the opponent an axe, his back hurt, and the attack of the other little brother also arrived. Under the struggle of strength, Sun Bai's body only shook slightly. He turned his body and struck the attacker's head with an axe. With this axe, he took away half of the opponent's health. At this moment, the chieftain's magical attack had arrived, instantly taking away 88 points of Sun Bai's health, and a burst of electric shock made his arm numb. The attack power of the silver hero level monster is formidable, and with the addition of my brother's damage, Sun Buki has lost 1% of his health in less than 2 seconds. Holding back the pain, he killed another little brother and was hit in the back by the chieftain's magic again, receiving 88 health points. The two captains who were secretly preparing to cover up in the distance were dumbfounded at this moment. Both of them have killed the silver hero monster before. Under normal circumstances, even the defense high health and thick health of the captain of the 7th team would almost consume 1/5 of their health. However, Sun Buki's health bar only decreased by a trace. Is he an ordinary soldier? How does it feel like his health bar is even longer than mine? Or do these three monsters have eaten their stomachs today and no attack power? The captain of the 7th team couldn't help but turn his head and ask Sultan. Save your brain. The three monsters' recent attacks have already taken away at least 300 points of their health. I know about their equipment, although they are all green equipment with high defense, it is absolutely impossible to add so much stamina. This kid is not normal. And his output is not low at all. Didn't you see him kill a monster of the same level with 3 axes? I'm not blind, and it's not 3 axes, it's 2 axes. Over there, Sun Buyao had already bullied himself and swung his axe towards the chieftain, using close combat as the only way to deal with legal professions. 2 axes again. The chieftain is destroyed. The eyes of both captains are about to fall off. They knew this kid was very strong, but they didn't expect him to be so strong. A level 15 silver hero monster was killed in just 2 seconds. Who would believe it if it were told? After killing the chieftain, Sun Buyao regained his strength and health, and then began cleaning the battlefield. The 2 little brothers dropped some linen, and the chieftain's drop surprised Sun Buki greatly. 2 blue equipment. Magician shoulder lining, blue. Item level 35 shoulder armor for .point armor plus 4 endurance plus 8 intelligence durability 35 level 20 is required Keller strap, blue. Item level 23 belt cloth armor 2 points of armor plus 8 intelligence plus 7 endurance durability 40 level 18 is required Sun Buyao, holding 2 pieces of equipment, stood beside the corpse with a smile that couldn't even close his mouth. And the 2 captains have good eyesight. They can see very clearly that Sun Buki is holding 2 blue equipment in his hand. This kid's luck is also too good. The last time the chieftain dropped blue equipment was 2 years ago. No way. I need to discuss it with him. After speaking, the captain of the 7th team rushed out of the hiding place and ran quickly towards Sun Buyao. Sultan waited for someone to run out for half a day before reflecting. Don't hesitate, don't give him the equipment, run. Without any skills, Sun Bai couldn't possibly be an opponent of elite warriors. Soon, both of his equipment were confiscated by the captain of the 7th team, and he quickly escaped with the equipment. Angry Sultan stood in place, jumping and cursing. Afterwards, the captain of the 7th team also felt that he had gone a bit too far, so he promised Sultan and Sun Buwei that he would not want any more blue equipment from the future. However, Sun Buwei promised to create enough equipment for the team members. Another 6 months have passed, and Sun Buyao will soon be 11 years old, and now his level is 19. Hey! Killing the chieftain this week resulted in a drop of level 20 green equipment, and the attributes of those equipment are completely incomparable to the equipment I created. That's for sure. You've been killing it for half a year now. It would be strange if you could still produce blue gear. Captain Sultan smiled and comforted him. In the past 6 months, Sun Buyao's forging skills have been getting higher and higher, and it is unclear whether it is a benefit for the travelers. As long as it is the equipment he creates, the additional attribute value added will always be higher than in the blueprint, and sometimes even an additional attribute will be added. Now he is in the fortress of Selsama, and even Knight Lieutenant Dre is happy and polite to him. Who could have made his forging skills so impressive? Moreover, Sun Buyao is still the only culinary master here. Even the chefs in the fortress come to ask him some questions every day. As a reward, he has 3 more dishes every day than others. Dinner is about to start, and Sultan and Sun Buki are sitting at the same table. Captain, can you stop grabbing food with me every time? There are so many tables here that you can sit freely, and you are a legal professional with special privileges here. Sultan smiled and hugged Sun Bai's waist, saying to him, I say no, my authority is far inferior to your treatment. Every meal you have is personally cooked by the chef, and he always stirs up 3 more dishes for you. Captain, I treat you very well. You can't have something delicious that you don't recognize. From now on, I will have to live with you every day. What else can Sun Buki do? Fortunately, he had an agreement with the chef that he was not allowed to tell others about being a culinary master. Otherwise, Sun Bai would not even have time to level up his monster-killing skills every day. Just as the food was about to be ready and everyone was sitting impatiently on the table waiting, the sound of the military horn outside suddenly rang out in a hurry. Something's wrong. Hurry up. Everyone is about to enter combat mode and prepare as quickly as possible. The voice of Knight Lieutenant Dre had already spread throughout the fortress, and at the same time as the military horn sounded, Sultan had already pulled Sun Buki and quickly rushed out of the restaurant. I just received a report from the patrol team that the Silver Spring Mine, 300 kilometers away from our fortress, was attacked by a group of rodents. They were probably over 1,000 people, including French rodents, and the number exceeded our imagination. The patrol team was also attacked by them. Except for the deputy captain who escaped and reported to us, the other members of the 4th team, including the captain, have all sacrificed themselves. We still don't know the situation in the mine, how many dwarves are still alive inside, and how many enemies still exist. We cannot know. But they cannot sacrifice in vain. Now everyone obeys orders, except for logistics personnel, all soldiers and professionals, fully armed. Everyone rushed to the Silver Spring Mine as quickly as possible, rescued our compatriots, and killed all the invaders. Do you understand? I understand. Then, let's go now. Yes. Soon, except for the logistics personnel, almost all the people in the fortress of Selsama were mobilized, and 4 Griffin cavalry were dispatched to seek help from the surrounding fortresses and fortresses. Elma, teleport back to Ironforge now, report the situation here to Captain Thunderspear, and tell him that the operation of the Rat Man must have been premeditated, so that dwarves in other areas can be prepared. Elma is the ordinary mage professional in Sun Bue's team. His level is not high, but he is a magical genius. He has mastered some skills that even elite-level mages have not comprehended, teleportation. Yes. Lieutenant, I will definitely take what you said to Captain Lei's spear. Sultan quickly gathered the rest of the team together. Let me first mention that this sudden incident is very serious. The number of opponents is twice that of us, and they have more legal professionals. Everyone must be careful. I hope that after our victory, everyone sitting here can come back alive. This time we are launching a counterattack on the Silver Spring Mine. I have decided that Ray Brad will not hesitate to command the team. Everyone must obey his orders, including myself. Did the captain suddenly say this sentence, which surprised everyone? The captain is a French professional, majoring in intelligence. In ordinary words, he is a person who plays with his brain. But now we have to let Buyao command the battle. Although everyone in the team has affirmed Sun Buyu's ability, when it comes to commanding, he probably doesn't have enough intelligence, right? Captain, I don't agree with your decision. I can charge at the front, but I definitely can't command the entire team. Let everyone follow me. As long as I'm alive, everyone won't sacrifice. Sun Buyao stood the first to oppose the captain's decision. The other members of the team are now silent, and they feel that Sun Buyao has already expressed everything they want to say clearly. Sun Bugui watched as the captain was about to speak up, so he quickly said, Captain, you are an elite pastor. Only you can view the whole situation from the rear, so our lives and safety are all in your hands. Please rest assured that as long as you can ensure our health in the rear, this battle will be won. After careful consideration, Sultan finally decided to listen to Sun Bu's request, and soon everyone arrived near the Yinquan mine. Because Sun Buyao had not yet mounted, he was brought over by Knight Lieutenant Dre. Unexpectedly, he had a mammoth mount that could ride 3 people. Everyone follows behind without hesitation, don't blindly wander around. There are holes everywhere in the mine, and one mistake can lead to leaving the team. In one sentence, if you want to live, follow without hesitation. Thank you to a few big brothers for recommending tickets and collecting them. Seeking collections, seeking votes, various seeks. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Battle to the End. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Battle to the end. Time waits for no one. Various land mounts and flying mounts were deployed, and all the vehicles were deployed. Soon, the large army arrived near the Yinquan mine. Looking up, thick smoke ignited by war was everywhere, blocking the sun in the sky. Yinquan Mine Cave is a large copper and iron ore mine, which can be said to be one of the few important sources of copper ore in Buyao. There are dozens of absenteeism dormitories and guard camps around the mine cave. And now all these buildings have been ignited and destroyed, and those several dozen-meter-high watchtowers have long been burned down and collapsed. The intelligence arrived in a timely manner, and there were still some surviving guards outside the mine, relying on fortifications to resist tenaciously. Knight Lieutenant Dre arrived first near the mine, riding on a tall mammoth mount and charging directly into the battle group with his men and horses. The mammoth mount itself has little attacking power, but now it is being commanded by him to collide with the enemy in the most concentrated area. In no time, the enemy's attack is being dispersed. He held the dwarf flag in his hand, and the long flag was used by him as a cavalry gun. Almost all enemies he encountered were shot twice by him, and he could no longer die. The flagpole has turned blood red, and the green military flag has also been dyed red. After dispersing the enemy, Knight Lieutenant Dre rode his mammoth mount to the front of the Survival Guard's fortification. The guard of Yinquan Mine, Kote, pays tribute to the commander and thanks him for his prompt support. A guard ran out of the fortification and reported to Chief Dre. "Okay. You guys are all good, now report the situation." Sun Buki also jumped off the mammoth mount at this moment, along with a level 42 elite hunter. "Yes. At around 10 o'clock this morning, we changed our guard for the first time. On the way back, the change team encountered a raid team consisting of more than 30 rodents, which included 5 French professions. We were ambushed, resulting in half of the team's personnel being reduced. However, we also killed 2 of their French professions. Subsequently, there were cries of killing coming from the mine. The defense team fought hard to break through the encirclement and returned to the barracks to report to the police. However, as they returned, the barracks were also attacked by hundreds of rodents. We organized everyone to enter the fortification to resist. Now, the number of people we are guarding is less than 30. These damn guys. What's the situation inside the mine?" Dre blew his beard and glared in an official manner. "We have no way of understanding the situation over there, and all these slaves' absenteeism has been incited to rebel." Dre's brow furrowed even deeper. "What about the personnel situation inside the mine before?" "Report. There are 114 guards inside the mine, including 80 ordinary soldiers, 30 warrior professions, 3 legal professions, 1 mage, and 2 paladins." "What about your guard officer?" "Report. The officer is also inside the mine." "Not bad, they should be able to hold on until we kill them." When the guard reported the situation to Chief Dre, other personnel had also arrived. "All team captains come over." Captain Dre shouted loudly, and soon the captains gave up killing the rat man and quickly gathered in front of Captain Dre. 1.2.3.4 Team, cooperate with the guards and kill all the attackers and rebellious absenteeism here. The other teams followed me into the mine to rescue our compatriots inside. We need to rush in as quickly as possible, remember not to leave any survivors. "Yes." Officer Dre climbed onto his mount again, and then he looked at the elite hunter and said, "Nari, stay here, use your skills, and don't let any enemy run away." The hunter saluted Captain Dre and said, "Don't worry, even if they drill holes, they won't escape my pursuit." After speaking, he let out a loud whistle and a raptor over a meter high appeared next to him. This is a white eagle, with a snow-white body, a pointed mouth and red claws, and a pair of golden eyes. Its body is taller and thicker than that of a hunter. This is also an elite level 42 combat pet. Sun Bu's envious eyes flickered with Venus. "Move forward." Soon, each team was ordered to disperse and go to their own combat positions. Arriving near the mine, there were still 3 level 28 rat raiders standing at the entrance of the mine. The captain of the 7th team charged directly, grabbed one, and then wielded a knife to chop towards the other. The remaining panicked one wanted to escape into the mine and report to the police, but in the next second, 3 arrows were inserted into the back of its head. This is the arrow of the captain of the 5th team, a level 36 elite hunter. The terrain inside the mine is very complex, please don't wander, concentrate your strength and move forward quickly. After Chief Dre issued the order, he took the lead and rushed in. "Kill me. For the Alliance." Sun Buyao and his 9 teammates rushed into the mine and headed towards a fork on the left. Sultan followed behind and cast a protective fear barrier for them, giving Sun Buyao a mantra and shield. The battle quickly began, and inside the winding mine, the line of sight was not very good. Sun Buyao ran at the front of the team, and after a turn, he saw a bunch of rat people blocking the way and rebellious absenteeism ahead. The rat man has 3 professions: tunnel mouse raider, geodiviner, and explorer. The other party had a large number of people, and Sun Buyao ran to the front to see it clearly. So he shouted loudly, "The other party has 3 legal professions, everyone be careful." After speaking, he lifted his axe and went up, target. 3 legal systems. Because he knew that the ordinary soldiers behind him and those soldiers were not even opponents of the opposing legal system. As long as they set fire, they could kill one person within 3 seconds. Watching Sun Buki rush up alone, the opposing legal person smirked and began casting spells, while Su Erden, who was behind the team, also became anxious at this moment. Hold them back, warrior professions cast skills, interrupt their casting, and others deal with physics, it's important to save your life. Watching Sun Buyao rush towards the legal system, anger erupted in the eyes of the other members of the team. For most of the past 6 months, Sun Buyao's reputation among them was not lower than that of the team captain, and they were all wearing top-notch green clothes made by Sun Buyao. Kill me. Protect me. I'll interrupt the guy on the left's casting, you guys go take care of the one on the right. Hurry up. Hurry up. Damn it. Your opponent is me. Come on. Come on. The rest of the team rushed forward and the melee began in no time. A soldier in the team charged directly and fixed one of the magic spells, instantly interrupting its casting. However, the other 2 magic bullets had already hit Sun Buyao's body. Level 31. The legal system on the opposite side turned out to be 31, and 2 magic bullets directly bloomed on Sun Buyao's body. The explosion affected a large area, and the 2 teammates who were preparing to protect Sun Buyao on the side were instantly knocked off half of their health. The smoke dissipated, and Sun Bu's face turned black. His armor also had 2 dents, but his health only decreased by less than 2%. Seeing that his teammate was seriously injured in order to protect himself, Sun Bu became angry. The basic melee attack erupted, and the axe on both hands turned into 2 white rays of light and landed on the opponent of the legal family. His current strength value has already exceeded 100, and the total health value of these legal systems is only over 700 points. With 2 axes down, one of the French soldiers on the opposite side was killed, and then Sun Bugue turned his head to deal with the other one. The third French rat man is restrained by a level 32 warrior, and both sides have reduced their health to half. Behind them, a large group of rat men pounce on the remaining teammates. With the cooperation of their teammates, the 2 French murals were quickly defeated, but the battle situation behind them was much more tragic. The 2 warriors who were just affected by the magic bullet to protect Sun Buyao have now fallen in a pool of blood and sacrificed their lives heroically. There are too many opponents, almost every teammate has to face 2 or 3 rodents at the same time. Sultan's healing skills have a time limit, so far he has only cast 2 healing spells. He angrily lifted his staff and joined the battle. After defeating the French rat man, Sun Bugue rushed left and right in the narrow passage. When danger appeared there, he rushed towards his comrades, especially those with limited health. War is cruel. Although their team won the battle, there are only 6 people left in the team, including the captain. After completely annihilating the rat man, Sun Bai sat on the ground in silence. In his arms lay a black iron dwarf named Thumb, the dwarf who had initially bullied Sun Bai as a new recruit. He sacrificed himself to protect me. In this situation, I cannot take care of everyone at all. I am a derelict captain, also from the legal system. Why did I choose the profession of pastor in the first place? Sultan stood in front of him, with bloodstains all over the green priest's robe. These bloodstains were not from the enemy, but from his own blood. As a healing profession, they were the most dangerous in this kind of melee. Just like the legal system where Sun Buyao prioritized killing the opponent, most members of the close combat of the rat man also charged towards him. Sun Buki looked up at the captain with only 1/3 of his health left. With a bitter expression on his face, he said, "Captain, it's not your fault, and no one will blame you. There are too many of them, and you have made the greatest effort to protect us. If only I were a little stronger." Teammates leaned together to bandage each other's wounds, and everyone remained silent. The 4 corpses lying on the ground were their brothers and comrades who stood by them day and night. Sun Bu hates himself. Although he has 6 professional skills that are all at the level of a Zen master, he always knows how to mix in the monster pile to brush attribute points in order to improve. If he can also improve his alchemy and equip each teammate with life-saving potions, then these people will not die. The captain's healing skills have been restored, and he once again swung his staff to cast healing spells on a seriously injured teammate. Half an hour later. How is everyone recovering? We have been delayed here for a long time, and there are still many of our compatriots waiting for us to rescue them deep in the mine. The captain's health bar has been fully restored, and all the teammates here are aware that as long as the captain's healing ability is restored, he will cast spells on those injured teammates as soon as possible, but he has never healed himself once. Sun Bu watched as his teammates stood up one by one from the ground, and then he spoke up, "Captain, I still have some things here. You can distribute them to the brothers. Although the effect is not very good, it can save a life in critical moments." After speaking, Sun Buyao took out a pile of barbecue items in the puzzled eyes of the captain and teammates. Large bear sparrow. Level 15 required usage. Restores a total of 332 health points within 24 seconds, and must remain seated while eating. If you spend at least 10 seconds eating, your endurance and spirit will increase by 5 points for 60 minutes. Spider sausage. Level 35 required usage. Restores a total of 1,392 health points within 30 seconds, and must remain seated while eating. If you spend at least 10 seconds eating, your endurance and spirit will increase by 12 points for 60 minutes. Then he took out some potions from his backpack that he had been searching for treasures and opening treasure chests with his racial expertise for the past 6 months. Then he also took out a lot of materials for making bandages. I haven't learned emergency rescue techniques too much. If anyone knows how to do it, take it and give everyone a share. I don't want to see any teammates sacrifice anymore. No, where did these things come from? Sultan looked at what Sun Buyao had taken out of his backpack, hesitated for a moment, and then asked. I made all the food myself, and I have honed my cooking skills to a master level. These potions and materials were obtained by killing monsters and opening treasure chests. These things are not very useful to me, but they are still useful to everyone. Take them all, and I hope everyone returns alive. Looking at the grateful gazes from everyone, Sun Bai felt a bit ashamed. In order to make up for his conscience, Sun Bai looked at everyone fiercely and said, everyone must survive. As long as you can survive in this battle, I promise. Create 2 blue equipment for each brother. After Sun Buyao finished speaking, everyone's eyes suddenly lit up, and then there was a commotion in the passage. Really? Don't be cowardly. Haha, that would be great. Gaga gaga, I must survive for your promise. I knew you were the strongest blacksmith, and my vision has never been missed. Sultan urgently stopped everyone's noise. With a big wave of his hand, all his teammates stopped speaking, and no one spoke again. Are what you're saying true? I'll guarantee my reputation, and of course, you can handle the materials yourself. Oh, by the way, Captain, your equipment is also included with me. Sultan looked at Sun Buki in shock. In his eyes, Sun Buyao was already so outstanding that he couldn't express himself in words, but now he has said these words again. He knows that what Sun Buyao says is always an iron nail. He gratefully saluted Sun Bu. On behalf of all the comrades in the 6th team, I express my highest respect to you. The food was quickly divided, and everyone sat on the ground eating it on the spot. Soon, the enhancement effect in the food was displayed. Looking at the admiring gaze from everyone, Sun Buki shyly lowered his head and used his fingers to button his head. Let's go. The battle is not over, there are still many rat people who have not been killed, and many comrades who have not been rescued. This time, Sun Buki will definitely not allow any comrades to sacrifice again. Captain, you don't have to worry about me. The same goes for everyone else. I will solve the difficult enemies as quickly as possible. As long as you persist, I will take them down and come back to support you. We believe in you. There was another wave of Rat-Man combo, but this time there were only a dozen or so. Sun Buki took the lead and rushed into the pile of Rat-Man to crazily chop and kill. 2 French squirrels were defeated by Sun Buyao in just over 10 seconds, and then he began to support his teammates. The entire team's attack was driven by Sun Buyao. In the following battles, the 6th team did not lose any personnel. Sultan stood at the end of the team with his staff in hand, his eyes filled with Sun Buki. What kind of person is this? With extremely high health and incredibly skilled combat skills, even though he was just a soldier and didn't have the skills of a professional, his figure as he rushed into the enemy like a beast remained in Sultan's eyes for a long time. This is the teammate I need, only he can help me realize my dreams. I, Kadro Sultan, the 3rd prince of the dwarves, must keep him in my tribe and restore the glory of the dwarves. The battle continued until evening, and the main troops had all entered the mine. The 1.2.3 squad had already eliminated all the enemies outside and came to support them. Sun Buki's level has reached level 20, and he has killed too many rodents, and he has also killed enemies that are about 10 levels higher than his own level. The killing value is almost tens of thousands, which is 100 free attribute points. Captain Dre has killed all the enemies in the remaining tunnels, and now each team has treated the rescued people. The remaining people are all concentrated at the entrance of the main mine. Now there is only one tunnel left. Everyone, stay alert and attack with all their might for the final battle of this war. There are several officers from the Silver Spring mine, more comrades who need our rescue, and of course, more enemies. Knight Lieutenant Dre raised his right hand and looked at over 100 people in front of him, shouting loudly, for the Alliance. For honor. For the dwarves. Rush in and kill them all, fight to the end. Is there anyone there? Give it a living move. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Natural Disaster Burning Core. Come again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Natural Disaster Burning Core. Come again. Several elite professionals took the lead, and the rest followed behind them and rushed in. This tunnel is several thousand meters long and not only produces minerals, but also some rare gemstone materials. The several groups of Rat-Man groups encountered along the way were all killed by the elite professionals at the forefront, followed by ordinary professionals and soldiers who were responsible for repairing their swords. Sun Buyao also took the opportunity to brush up some killing values. The enemies that appear later become more powerful, and a group of elite-level Rat-Man teams have already emerged. When the top elite professionals rushed into a huge cave, the situation inside made them all stop. I saw all the enemies standing densely ahead, and behind them, there were more than a dozen tenacious resistance dwarven compatriots in a fortification. Surprisingly, there are still orcs and trolls. Knight Lieutenant Dre's eyes widened in anger. No wonder these usually timid rodents would launch a massive attack on our mine. It turned out that there were tribe members supporting them. The opponent is led by an elite level 47 orc warrior, and to his left is a guy covered in a black robe, making it difficult to see his appearance and level. To the right of the orc warrior are 2 elite mages at level 42, both of whom are trolls. Behind them are nearly 20 elite tribal professions, ranging in level from 30 to 40, with various professions available. At this moment, a troll mage from the opposite side walked up and said in broken human alliance common language, "Hello, all the warriors of the dwarf race. I think we should sit down peacefully and discuss the final matters of today's battle. Don't talk nonsense, hand over our people and surrender." Dre is very angry, he doesn't want to have any unnecessary nonsense with the other party. Surrender. Hee, that's impossible. If you don't want all the dwarves behind me to be killed, please speak to us in a gentler tone. The troll mage was not afraid at all when facing hundreds of dwarf warriors. Dre's eyes swept over the besieged compatriots, who were covered in scars all over their bodies, some even with incomplete limbs, but their eyes were filled with war and anger. Let's release our people first, and then negotiate the terms. Hehe, do you think we're that foolish? Will we still have a way out after releasing them? Can you find someone with some brain to negotiate with us? This officer is obviously not the most suitable candidate. The troll mage still looks calm and indifferent. Lieutenant Dre Knight was angry and shouted loudly, "Don't say any unnecessary nonsense. Hurry up and let our people go, otherwise you'll have to bury them." With a wave of his big hand, the team behind him began to move forward. And his move clearly angered the orc warrior. Although he couldn't understand the common language of the Alliance, he wasn't foolish. The Alliance's team's move was clearly a breakdown in negotiations. I saw him forcefully draw out his big sword with both hands, ready to strike at an elite warrior from the Alliance behind him. "Stop it." The one who shouted this was Sun Bugue. And he's speaking orc language. In an instant, whether it was the tribe or the Alliance, everyone turned their attention to Sun Buki. One thing to note here is that in the original Azeroth continent, only the human race, night elves, trolls, goblins, dwarves, and Tauren were indigenous. The dwarves are descendants of the Titans, and the Titans are a foreign race. They defeated the original elemental god of Azeroth, transformed the environment here into a new god, and then handed it over to the dragon race to manage, leaving themselves. The energy source used to maintain this environment is called the Well of Eternity, and after the energy of the Well of Eternity leaks out, it is noticed by demons from other worlds. The demon and the upper elves of Azeroth reached an agreement, and they opened the portal to lead the Burning Legion to attack the continent of Azeroth. Although the war was won by the Azeroth natives, the Well of Eternity exploded, ultimately shattering the continent into two pieces. Later, the human race and the Night Elves formed an alliance, and the Night Elves taught humans how to use magic. The defeated demon, on the other hand, used mind control techniques to control the orc leaders on another continent, and then the orcs were also teleported over. Then came the long war between humans and orcs. Isn't it surprising that a dwarf tribe can speak orc language? This is separated by two continents. If he is speaking tribal common language, it can still be understood, and if he is speaking the giant demon tribe, it is also possible. Orc language is absolutely impossible. I think we can negotiate. Please lay down your weapons first. If you kill my compatriots now, then only the one who is alive can go out. Sun Buki continued to communicate with the other party in orc language. Dwarf, you can actually speak our orc language. That's good. Let that dwarf let us go, otherwise we will kill you all or be killed by you. There are no surrendered orcs, only warriors who died in battle. Let's lay down our weapons first and talk slowly. Sun Buchi slowly walked out of the crowd with his double axes and arrived at the empty space between the two sides. After staring at each other for a few moments, he was the first to throw away his double axe. He didn't want to see his comrades die, even though he had never seen these dozen or so people. The orc warrior saw that Sun Buki had dropped his weapon. He glanced left and right at his teammates, then thought for a moment. Then he fiercely inserted his large sword into the ground, but his hands were still held on the hilt. Tell me, how can we go back? Sun Buki saw the other parties move and also knew that they had made the greatest compromise possible. Therefore, he replied, I will discuss with the chief first and then reply to you. How about that? Okay. Then Sun Buyao came to Commander Dre, and Sultan, who had been behind the team, also came to Sun Buyao. Whether or not to stand at the forefront has nothing to do with courage, this is a professional requirement. What did you say to him? When did you learn orc language? He doesn't doubt Sun Bu's background and innocence, he just has some doubts. Sir Dre, this is not the time to discuss orc language. We have more than a dozen people trapped in the fortifications by them. If we provoke them now, these dozen or so people will definitely be killed in the first place. We have no ability to rescue them at all. Humph. They are the warriors of the dwarves, and death is their highest honor. But they cannot die in vain, let these green skins pay the price. If Sun didn't hesitate, it would be difficult to accept this. He could see that this Dre was just a hammer and wouldn't compromise at all. At this moment, Sultan saluted Dre and said, "Sir, in this situation, if we go to war with the enemy, these dozen or so people will die first, and after they die, we will have to fight them to the death. Although we have hundreds of people, the enemy has a considerable number of people, and their elite-level professionals have stronger attack power than us. That place is too strong, why didn't I see it?" Dre felt that Sultan was exaggerating the other party. "Didn't you see it? The other party has 5 elite legal professions, although these mages are all from the troll clan, and they also have an orc shaman in the guy wearing a black robe. I can clearly feel the magical waves he wears. What's wrong with the 5 mages? Are mages just powerful? Although we don't have any mages among us, we have warriors, hunters, and you. Aren't you a priest? There's a healing professional across from us, and we have 3 here. If we include the 2 trapped knights, we have 5 healing professions, of course, provided they can still cast skills." Sultan continued, "Our goal is to save our comrades. The matter of revenge can be postponed for a while. Orcs have a bad brain, so let's find a way to get them to release them. After they leave the mine, we can do it again." Your method is good, but it's a bit sinister. Then go negotiate with Buyao and I'll calm down first." After speaking, Captain Dre turned around and stopped glaring at the damn green-skinned man. "Don't hesitate, tell them we can exchange one for another. For every hostage they surrender, we will let them out of the pit alone. And make them apologize for this war and pay relative compensation." When Sultan said this, he was not worried that the other party would listen, but the people from the tribe had not shown much behavior yet. However, the besieged mine chief spoke up. "We are not hostages, we don't need to exchange each other's people. As long as you start fighting, we will rush out and fight against each other." After hearing these words, Sun Buki and Su Erden looked at each other and shook their heads with their mouths down. This goods should be stuck inside. After hearing Sun Bu's words, the orc warriors discussed with their other teammates and soon made a decision. "You can change people, but each time the person we change must be our designated person. Of course, you can also say that those of us cannot leave. Next is compensation. We agreed to your request, but we don't have much to offer you at the moment. Since the other party has agreed, then everything is easy to discuss." Finally, after negotiations between Sun Buyao and Sultan, it was decided that the tribal side would release the people first. If they were released, they would belong to the legal system. The alliance side would then allow the other party's 5 legal professions to leave the mine first, and the other party would have to take off their weapons as compensation for the war. Soon, the tribe began releasing people. They first released a dwarf priest, whose mana had been depleted and he had suffered several injuries. Captain Dre also designated 5 French soldiers to throw weapons on the ground and then walked out. Next, the other party never released the hostages again. After waiting for almost 10 minutes, Captain Dre became impatient and pointed at the orc, shouting, "Greenskin, what do you want to do? It's almost 10 minutes. Have you decided to release our person yet?" However, at this moment, the troll who had just started negotiating in the common language of the alliance stood up again. "Don't worry about changing people for now. We'll wait for our people to return before proceeding. If you set up an ambush at the entrance of the mine, we'll catch one as soon as we go out, hee. Yo! Are you quite smart?" After speaking these words, Captain Dre stopped talking because he was also worried about Sultan and the plan's mistakes. After a while, one of the released troll mages returned and nodded at the orc warrior and the troll mage, indicating that it was safe outside. Then both sides continued to release each other's people as agreed. Soon, all the besieged personnel on our side were released. And there are 3 elite-level professionals and 30 ordinary professionals across the street. These 3 individuals are elite orc-level warriors, elite-level giant mages negotiating, and the last one is the black-robed legalist. The orc warrior saw that all of the opponent's people had been released, but surprisingly, there were so many people on his own side here. He was a bit uneasy. But the black-robed man beside him remained unmoved. "Hey, that soldier, what should we do now? We have already released all of your people. Do you want to turn back and attack us while we have fewer people? How could that be? We've all agreed, now you all put down your weapons and walk out of the mine. We won't take any action against you." Sun Bu's plan was very successful. "Are you sure? Okay." Without a word, the orc left with the few people behind him, while his large swords were still stuck on the ground. At this moment, the black-robed man who had not spoken spoke. "Hee, I have long seen through your plan. Although the people outside have not been attacked, your ambush still exists. You want us all to come out of the mine and engage in 2 side attacks. These people no longer have weapons and are just ordinary monsters to you." Sun Bu's plan was indeed like this. He had given instructions to Chief Dre beforehand to arrange for an invisible thief to organize troops outside, all of whom were lurking in a hidden spot 1 kilometer away from the mine. After all the tribes have left the pit, Chief Dre will cast a secret signal and then sandwich these unarmed tribes on both sides. The words of the black-robed man made the orc who was preparing to leave shiver all over. He turned around suddenly, pulled out his 2-handed sword that had been inserted into the ground, and glared angrily at Sun Bu, wishing to tear off a piece of his flesh. Upon seeing a change in the situation, Captain Dre immediately walked up to Sun Buki and blocked him with his body. "So, what we've agreed on, do you want to go back on your word? Put down your weapons and get out of our mine." Ha ha. The black-robed man laughed and suddenly took off his black robe, and now everyone saw his appearance. "It's the undead. And it's an evil necromancer. There are sorcerers in both the tribe and the alliance in the game, but here, sorcerers are the most evil beings. They are not in the ranks of professionals, but are enemies of both the tribe and the alliance." "Are you actually a sorcerer?" said the orc warrior in an incredulous tone. "You're actually a sorcerer," said Captain Dre in a tone of anger and hatred. "Green-skinned people, you actually collude with the demons of the Burning Legion of the natural disaster. Are you planning to start another war? Have you not learned the lesson from last time? Demons cannot coexist with us." Dre angrily rebuked the orc elite. "No. I didn't know he was a demon sorcerer. We don't want to go to war, it's him. It's him. He instructed us to occupy this mine, it's all him, it's not related to our tribe." Ha, foolish orc, will they believe what you say to them now? "Obey my orders obediently, only by killing with me can you have a way out. No. We orcs will never be your slaves." The orc elite shouted and picked up the sword in their hand, wanting to chop towards the opponent. But when he picked up his 2-handed sword, he suddenly realized that he could no longer control his body. He held the sword up like that, in a downward chopping position, and was fixed there. The nearby troll mage also suddenly reflected, shouting loudly in common language to Dre, "Damn it, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and attack him." Dre finally realized that no matter how the alliance and tribe fought, it was just a commotion in the den. Now this is a demon sorcerer. According to the provisions of the peace treaty, anyone who encounters a natural disaster burning army or demon sorcerer, alliance, or tribe must immediately kill the other party and quickly report to the surrounding cities. Kill. Alliance warriors, charge. Cooperate with the tribe to kill this demon sorcerer. Just as everyone was preparing to cooperate and kill this demon sorcerer, the sorcerer's ultimate move was launched. Natural disaster. Demons have descended. Come on. The demons of the Burning Legion, come out of the summoning gate. Kill these poor guys, eat their flesh, and suck up their souls. A black meteor that fell from the sky penetrated several thousand meters deep into the mining cave layer and directly hit Sunbu in front of them. Immediately after the black meteor landed, a huge black portal was erected in the large pit it smashed into. Disaster burning core. Come again. Who can make a sound? Are we going to hit the street again? End of this chapter. Chapter 10. I will make explosives. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. I will make explosives, hurry up and stop him. Officer Dre's angry roar did not have any effect, the portal has already been opened. Demons emitting green flames rushed out from inside one by one. Sunbu was also stunned. This was the first time he had seen a living Burning Legion soldier. These guys with green flames burning on their bodies are only about 50 centimeters tall. They are naked all over, with cracks on their magma-like skin, and those green flames emerge from the cracks. There are also 2 demon horns on their triangular heads, resembling goat horns. One pair of eyes is eerie yellow, but they emit a green light. They do not hold weapons, but their sharp claws are incredibly sharp, with green liquid dripping from them. If they fall to the ground, they will corrode the ground and emit a hint of green smoke. They also have a short tail behind them, and a pair of flesh wings on their back. These demons are probably the lowest level soldiers, their level is not high, only around level 30. It's little ghosts. Hurry up and kill them. Sultan also reflected at this moment. Hurry up, these guys are all cannon fodder. We can't let them leave the mine. Once they leave the mine and form a demon realm around it, more powerful demons will run out of the portal. The face of the orc elite warrior had turned terrifyingly green. He was well aware of the scale of his crimes and shouted in a trembling voice, I want to kill you. You demon. The portal has been opened, and the purpose of the undead sorcerer has been achieved. At this point, he has released the constraints on the orc warriors. Kill me. Ha ha ha, I am an immortal existence. What's wrong with my orc companion? Do you have a liking for my current skeleton? Just tell me if you want it. As a reward for helping me open the portal, I'll give you this skeleton to make soup with. After speaking, the body of the undead sorcerer suddenly swelled up, followed by a loud bang. It exploded. The huge shock wave, mixed with bone fragments and gravel on the ground, spread in all directions. The power of the explosion is very strong, and the first to bear the brunt is undoubtedly the orc warrior and the troll mage. After all, the orc warrior is a high defense and high health professional, and he was not killed in the first time by the explosion, while the troll mage directly turned into flying ash. The ordinary professionals behind them were also injured or killed, while the Alliance side was a bit far from the explosion range, with only a few slightly injured. The explosion sounded like the horn of war, and the melee resumed. However, this time the enemy was no longer between the tribe and the Alliance, but both sides joined forces to deal with the Burning Legion. Warrior charge. Paladin halo. Hunters place traps, don't let them charge out. Kill. For the tribe. Although the orc warrior was seriously injured, now is not the time for him to rest and heal. Today we can never redeem ourselves, we can only use our last strength to perish with them, warriors. Kill. The big sword with both hands spun in his hand, and no little ghost could survive wherever he went. The other tribe professionals also rushed forward, whether they were missing arms or legs or suffering minor injuries. Now they only wanted to use death to redeem themselves. Notify the people outside and have them quickly inform the officials of Ironforge and Stormwind about what has happened here. We need support. Also, let the people outside guard the mine entrance and not let a demon run out. If we all die, then blow up the passage. Captain Dre is now also holding a dying heart, and no matter what, he cannot let the demon leave the mine. If the demon were to escape, it would be a disaster for the entire continent, and Sun Buki was also panicked at this moment. Little ghosts gushed out of the teleportation gate in batches, and in no time, their numbers had reached thousands. With just over 100 people here, it was absolutely impossible to hold them. That's it, I have a great ambition to dominate. Am I going to die here today? He suddenly remembered that he also had a super soul stone. I shouldn't be able to die, but I'm afraid these teammates won't be able to survive. He killed a demon little ghost attacking him with his backhand, turned his head to look at the portal, which was now directly covered by green light, and there were more and more little ghosts. At the moment he looked at the portal, he suddenly thought that the soul stone could resurrect him, but that thing was resurrected in place. Resurrected at the portal of the Burning Legion's teleportation. This joke is not funny at all. The soldiers harvested a batch of little ghosts, but then more little ghosts appeared in the teleportation door. After Sun Buki killed several little ghosts, he quickly moved to Sultan's side, and at this moment, His Highness the Third Prince was also fighting hard to kill the enemy. Although the pastor profession does not have much advantage against other professions, his skills are used to attack weak enemies, but when it comes to dealing with demons, his killing power directly explodes. I came to purify this land. Disappear. Son of Darkness. Sultan's staff condensed a holy light and then designated it at the entrance of the black portal, covering all the little ghosts within a 40-yard radius of the portal. Dispel magic. Dispel all magic effects within a certain range and deal 200 damage to summoned creatures, doubling the damage to demonic creatures. That holy light fell on the heads of all the little ghosts near the portal, and then it turned into an arrow rain, in an instant. These demons all burned up, and this time they were not burning green flames, but pure white holy flames. In less than 5 seconds, all these little ghosts were burned to ashes. Well done. A few more times. Captain Dre saw this scene and shouted excitedly. He also killed several demon spirits who were preparing to attack the post-method profession. Don't hesitate, bring a dozen or so people to protect Sultan and the others. We can resist here and don't let these disgusting things get close to our pastor. Yes. Sun Buyao received the order from his superiors and directly led his team members, also calling for the captain of the 5th and 7th teams, surrounding his own treatment and legal system for protection. How's it going? Captain, can you still hold on? Seeing Sun Bu's protection by his side, Sultan breathed a clear sigh of relief. I'm okay, there's still a lot of magic potion in my backpack that I can hold on to. With a hint of embarrassment on his face, he said again, hey, don't hesitate. Do you still have any extra magic recovery potions there? If there are, don't hesitate to take them all out and distribute them to the other pastors. When we get out alive, I'll repay you twice as much. Sun Buki flipped through his bag and found that there were still some medicines inside, but they were all low-level medicines. Yes. But I have already given you all the level 31 mana potions. I still have some level 22 mana potions and some level 14 secondary mana potions. Do you really have it? Sultan was stunned. This kid is just a mobile pharmacy. Quickly take it out and give it to the others. Give it to the 2 paladins as well, and tell them to use exorcism against the little ghosts. The divine spell has super destructive power against these demons. No problem. Sun Buyao quickly cut through a path of blood and then distributed the potions in his backpack to those legal professionals. The legal professionals who were traded the potions were almost tearfully grateful for Sun Buyao's support. After handing over all the potions to these legal systems, Sun Buyao returned to Sultan once again. Another dispelling magic skill was cast, and Sultan's forehead was already covered in sweat. How is it? Sun Bu asked, with some connections on the periphery. I'm okay, but this is not a long-term solution. We must destroy the portal, otherwise everyone won't be able to survive today. Sultan gasped for breath and used his wand to shoot magic bullets at the bleeding little ghosts. How could it be destroyed? Tell me quickly. The portal is immune to low-level magic, and only professionals who have reached level 60 or above can cause damage to it. In addition to this, that is to blow it up. How to bomb? What to use to bomb? Sun Buki asked urgently while killing the enemy. Use explosives. How else can we explode? Explosives. Sun Bu's eyes rolled around as he recalled hearing about explosives there. He seemed to have some impression of the word. Suddenly, his eyes widened and he punched himself hard in the head, saying, "My brain, I can make bombs myself." Sultan's dispelling magic will take a few more minutes to be cast again. At this moment, he is extremely anxious and eager to grow another hand to cast the spell. Suddenly someone pulled at his clothes, and he turned his head to see that it was Sun Buki. "What's wrong? Captain, do you have something like runes?" "Rune cloth. Isn't that the material used by tailors to make equipment?" "Oh, yes, we can also make bandages." "What's wrong? Do you want to make bandages? Why so much nonsense? If you have it, just give it to me. If not, I'll go find someone else." Sun Buki was also furious. Just now, he hid in the middle of the legal system and checked engineering in his professional skills. As expected, there is indeed a method for making bombs here. He flipped directly into the explosive drawings and began searching, and soon he found one. Dense explosives. Require engineering, 250, use. Deal 340 to 460 flame damage to all targets within a radius of 5 yards. 1 minute cooling time. He's not sure if all these targets include the portal, but he has to give it a try anyway. The materials used to manufacture explosives are also very simple, including dense explosive powder and runic cloth. And the material of the dense explosive powder is even simpler. There are thick stones everywhere here. Sultan could tell that Sun Buki was not joking. He quickly took out a stack of rune cloth from his backpack and said, "That's all I have." This type of rune cloth is very rare, it's a high-end material, and it only requires humanoid monsters above level 50. "How much do you need?" "I'll go find others." Sun Bugue was holding the rune cloth handed over by the captain in his hand, feeling angry in his heart. He had the cloth, but only 5 pieces, which could make a chicken feather. "I need a lot." "Do you understand a lot? Go find it quickly." Sun Buki almost shouted out. This was his first time being impatient. Don't worry, I'll help you find it now." While Sultan was busy finding runes for him, Sun Buki retreated to the rear, picked up the digging tools on the ground, and began desperately digging for stones. Fortunately, many of these stones could meet the standards. When he saw Sultan again, he had already produced a pile of dense explosive powder. "What is this?" Sultan was stunned, realizing that his mental capacity was too weak today and his body was a bit overwhelmed. Explosive powder. Seeing that Sultan had returned, Sun continued to manufacture without hesitation or lifting his head. "How many runes did you get?" 102 pieces. Sultan's voice trembled a bit as he spoke. Not trembling is not enough. Is this Librad not a coward, the illegitimate son of the Titan god? How come he knows everything, can forge, can cook, and now he knows engineering and can manufacture explosives? My little life has been saved. This is the most certain thing in Sultan's heart now. He took out all the runes and placed them next to Sun Buyao, standing in front of him watching him make explosives. Now who cares about healing teammates and using skills to kill little ghosts? It's so exciting to see how he makes explosives. Sun Buyao's hands were constantly creating movements, and Sultan was very good at making eye movements. As long as Sun Buyao needed something, he could quickly pass it to him. Captain Dre's place is already dark, and he doesn't have time to manage what Sun Bu is doing. And all the people from the tribe have died together with the demon spirits, because they are the closest group to the teleportation gate. Sun Buki and Sultan's abnormal behavior was discovered by the captain of the 7th team. After killing and repelling a few waves of monsters, he approached to see what they were actually doing. When he looked into it, the thing in front of him startled him. Explosives. A pile of explosives as high as a small hill. Oh my God! Did you move the Ironforge arsenal over here? His shout was immediately heard by a few people next to him. What is it? Oh my goodness, explosives. Ha ha ha. We're saved. Sun Buki didn't have time to listen to what they were saying. He had been focused on making explosives, waiting for the materials in his hands to run out. So he didn't finish counting, and he continued to make explosive powder. Of course, the more these things, the better. Someone quickly rushed to Commander Dre's side and reported what had happened here to him. Commander Dre was the main force and could not escape, but he still conveyed his message. Ha ha ha, don't be cowardly, kid. I love you more and more. After killing these sons of bitches, I'll go to Ironforge to pay you tribute. The voice of Knight Lieutenant Dre spread throughout the entire mine. Sun Buki couldn't hold on anymore. Making these things was very physically and mentally demanding. After finishing the last batch of explosive powder, he collapsed and went into shock. When he woke up, it was already the third afternoon. I don't want you to wake up. You've been sleeping for 2 days and 2 nights. When he opened his eyes, he saw his own father, Uncle Honey. The old man saw him wake up, jumping excitedly on the ground, and tears streaming uncontrollably. Dad, why are you here? Have we won? The first thing Sun Bue did after waking up was worry about the portal. Ha ha ha, victory. It's all because of you. My son, you're now a hero of Ironforge, said Uncle Honey with a beaming expression. It's good if we win, Sun Buki let out a long breath. Are everyone okay then? Captain, what about them? You have to ask Sultan about this. I have already sent someone to notify him and he should be there soon. Before Dad could finish speaking, the door to the room was forcefully pushed open. The first person to enter was Captain Dre, followed by the captain of the 5th and 7th teams, as well as Sun Bu's other 5 teammates. Kid, you're awake, ha ha ha, that's great. Captain Dre's usual loud voice resounded throughout the entire medical facility. There should be 50,000 words. Can we have an editor take a look? Little brother, there are all kinds of requests here, the kind that falls all over the place. End of this chapter.